General Nerdery.
Here at General Nerdery, we pride ourselves in bringing you a diverse and varied array of topics to discuss. Like last week, we discussed Good Omens, and this week we are here to discuss Good Omens. Welcome to our podcast about liking things. I'm Zach.
I'm Tyler.
And once again with us is my beloved wife,
Cecilia.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was not expecting the,
None of us were.
I don't think she was either. Anyways, as I said last week, we talked about Good Omens, the book. This week we are going to talk about Good Omens, the TV show, because apparently 2 hours was not nearly, it was not nearly enough time.
We could have easily kept going.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah. I could talk for a very long time about my favorite book.
Yeah, I had the thought, man, we should do a read through podcast because I don't have enough podcasts going already. Apparently, I have a problem, guys.
I had something to say, but I just lost
gone.
it.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone.
On that note, what has everyone been ingesting this week?
Ooh. Yeah, I'll start off. They dropped a new hero in For Honor. So I did not as much of that as you would guess with how often I bring it up on this podcast.
There's
but
about a 20% chance that For Honor is your answer, I've noticed.
Yeah. But for there being an all-new hero, I didn't play it as much as you would guess. I definitely had to try it out, though. Enjoying him, I just really suck at playing him, so...
What's the new hero?
His name's Griffin. From the...
Griffin McElroy.
Yeah.
Your favorite baby brother.
There is technically a storyline in For Honor.
There is?
Yes.
I've watched friends play that game for 3 years, and I did not know that.
Partially because you've probably never seen them play the story mode, because the spaghetti...
There's a story mode?
The spaghetti code for that game makes it so that whenever they update the multiplayer, they actually can't update the story mode. So all of the story mode game mechanics are still set in, version 1.
That seems like poor planning.
It really is. But the new character is literally from the story mode, a character named Holden Cross. It's supposed to be that he became disillusioned with the Lawbringer order that he was a part of, set out as a mercenary across all of the different cultures, and realized how much better they could make things if they just worked together instead. And so he's the Griffin because he's the coming together of the three animals or two animals and whatever. And
I'm not going to lie, I listened to most of that, but you said the name Holden, and for some reason I went to Catcher in the Rye and was trying to figure out a way of making jokes about something being phony, but it was too much of a deep cut even for me. I'm a terrible podcasting host companion.
But so he's just like a big old dude with a bardiche. It's pretty sweet.
That does sound fun, yes.
And he swings it around in the widest arcs of any character in the game, so you're just hitting everybody in combat. Friends and foe alike. It's great.
Sounds like a kind of character I usually play. I mean, not For Honor, because I've never played, but...
Yeah. And then beyond that, I read Stephen King's The Running Man.
Nice.
Because this isn't going to matter to most people when I say this, because Rick lent it to me.
I get it.
Wait, Rick
Of
from...
course.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What other Rick would we...
I don't know.
The same Rick who every time he sees me gets very excited because he can talk about Avatar and recently Legend of Korra.
Yeah, because he's been going through it.
Yes. He has been very excited, and he thanked me very sincerely the other day for not doing any spoilers while still being willing to talk to him about it. So,
for those who don't work at the Good Food Store, which is at least 10 other people, Rick is our somewhat strange but well-intentioned middle-aged manager.
Great guy. I have, however, worked directly under him, and it's not as great.
Somewhat strange man, yes.
Yeah. But holy shit, if anyone else out there has had this experience in the past few years where you suddenly see, all of Stephen King's tweets go, viral and trending because he's actually, pretty woke, it seems like.
He's a pretty interesting guy for someone who has written some really problematic shit over the years.
Yeah, suddenly after reading Running Man, all that makes a lot more sense. He has been going for the people for a long fucking time now. There's still some problematic stuff in that book.
It's still a Stephen King novel, yes.
But some of it's hard because some of it is obviously like in the character kind of intentional.
Kind of what we were talking about last week of figuring out the line between where's the character talking and where's the author talking.
Right. So some of it is definitely the character talking. Like, it's pretty obvious. But there's other things where I'm like, you're using that a little freely, buddy.
Yeah.
That being said, if all you've ever seen is the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, do yourself a favor and go to, like,
I forgot
the source.
That was based off of Stephen King.
Very loosely based, turns out. Very loosely based, it turns out. But it's a guy basically sells himself to the major network that runs all the networks to be on a TV show called The Running Man, where he gets hunted for 30 days by a professional team of manhunters. He gets a 12-hour head start. He earns $100 every hour he stays alive.
That's a terrible price.
This is $100 every hour he's alive, where most people that are poor are scrounging their nickels.
Okay, I mean, also I make $15 an hour and I'm doing pretty well for myself, so $100, yeah, I get it. But also, like, Jesus Christ, man.
But he's having to do it because his only job option was causing him to be sterile, and so he quit and wasn't able to hold down a job, and now his like year-old daughter is sick with the flu and can't even afford meds. So it's heavy. That, and then like in The Running Man, the game, like nobody's lasted more than 8 days. Okay. And yeah, it's really fucked up. Like, The Running Man isn't even the worst show on the network, in my opinion. It's just the most popular and the one that always ends in death, whereas some of the others only end in like maimings and stuff.
Only sometimes end in death, yeah.
But there's other things where they'll take like heart patients and like put them on a treadmill, and the longer they can last, the more money they make for their families. Shit like that. Real fucking bleak dystopian future.
When did this book come out? 80s, probably.
80s, yeah. I want to say early 80s.
Okay.
Because it's all set actually like now. I think it's actually set next year.
Of course.
It could happen.
I love reaching the point or passing the point of the future.
Yeah.
Of, for example, we're almost past 2020, thank God. And a couple of my favorite comics from the early 90s, late 80s were Machine Man 2020 and Iron Man 2020, which was like the dark, grim, dystopian future. All right, your like styling was wrong, but honestly, some of it you were like disturbingly accurate on here, big guy.
Ooh, that was kind of the feeling I was getting from Running Man too. I'm like, ooh, some of this happened way faster in the book than it has in real life, but some of this is all too real. All too real. Anyway, that was me.
My love.
Well, I haven't absorbed much other than I had a really good Pokemon Community Day weekend because it was a 2-dayer. I managed to catch 6 shinies yesterday, so that was cool.
Woo!
Of course, Mando.
Of course, Mando. I've been thinking about that all day.
I'm going to do one quick, not really spoiler, but spoiler here. So just skip forward like 30 seconds. Yeah. I do find it interesting that they have included Boba Fett. They still have him as one of the most terrifying badasses ever, and yet he still manages to do almost nothing in every one of his appearances.
I don't know.
He didn't do a goddamn thing this episode.
But the episode before.
Yes.
But
Holy shit, that one.
But he also has like the funnest toys.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
and I actually kind of like the repainted armor.
Oh, he was looking so fresh when he came. I was just like, oh. Look at it.
Apparently, the fan community's been like, why would you do that? And he's like, because someone else fucked up his old armor, and you can't wear the scars of, like, someone else.
Yeah,
so he looks fly.
Some fresh scars. Fresh paint.
Fresh scars.
Fresh scars.
That's right. Sweet. Yes.
We'll be doing a Mando episode in, like, a
Soon.
month, I think we set it up for.
Something like that.
Yeah. So...
Because it's ending this week. So...
I think they announced... Winter 20... It's almost a full year.
It's almost a full year.
Yeah, as opposed to the, like, 9 months we had last time. I know, but we have a ton of Star Wars, like, honest to God. There's...
Yeah, so we're not going to hold out a full year and wait to talk about it right beforehand. Fuck that noise. We're going to talk about this shit when it's done, so...
But, sorry, I distracted us. Anything else you wanted to...
No, I haven't done a whole lot the last week. I assume you're going to talk about the new audiobook we started listening to.
I'm going to briefly mention it.
Because it's new for you, but it's, not new for me.
We started Good Omens. We're listening to it on... Not Good Omens, sorry. Geek Love. Wrong G book. Geek Love on the way to and from work. I don't have much to say about it yet because we are 3 chapters in. Not very far. It's fucking weird. And I now understand why I put it down when I was 13 and trying to read this book. I knew one of my stepsisters had bought it for me. And I messaged both of them being like, were you the one that did this? And both of them were like, yeah, I was. And then I talked to them, and I actually talked to my stepmom about it too today. And mentioned that we were listening to it, and they're all like, I love that book. And I'm like, yeah. Someone bought it for me when I was 13, and I tried it, and they all went, oh, God, no. Like, it was one of you.
One of you 3.
But,
guilty of buying me this book when I was 13 and way too young.
Looking back at it, they were like 20 at the time, as opposed to 40 now. So I get what they were like. Okay. Yeah.
I have something like that, as my parents will not admit to which one of them bought me the Toxic Avenger cartoon toys.
Oh yeah, that was some terrible product research before. Jesus Christ, man. Let's see. The thing I'll talk real quickly about, though, is I believe I've mentioned on this show, one of my ultimate guilty pleasures in the world of comic books is strange fucking crossovers. The weirder, the better. Batman Predator, great. Red Sonja Tarzan, one, legitimately annoying about how honestly good that book was, and 2, how the hell did that even come up? Yes, I want everything to do with that. The one that came up as one that I read this week was not... The idea is not as weird as that, but it's one I never would have thought to do myself, which is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. For some fucking reason, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers are having this goddamn renaissance in the comics.
I know Kyle Higgins helped with that.
Kyle Higgins, Steve Orlando, who wrote Midnighter, which we did an entire episode about Midnighter. Steve Orlando's fucking amazing. Kyle Higgins is very good, too. Writing about the fucking teenagers with attitude. And I've tried them. I'm sorry, it's still horseshit. Like, it is well drawn. It is as well written as you can get, while still being the fucking Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. People who enjoy it, more power to you. But man, it's bad. But it crosses over with Ninja Turtles really fucking well. And that is some of the most fun I've had reading a comic book in a long goddamn time.
Hell yeah.
Also, I can't remember who the writer is, but he legitimately had some of the best voices I've ever read for the Turtles.
Nice.
And making fun of the Power Rangers while openly being like, fuck yeah, Ninja Turtles. I'm recognizing my own get the fuck over yourself there. But for some reason, Turtle comics lately have been really goddamn good, and I'm almost mad about it.
Yeah, on the Power Ranger side, I've actually been meaning to try out that Shattered Dimensions.
Yes, me too.
Or Shattered Grid, is that it?
I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's Shattered Grid.
It like fucking went through like 3 printings, which is insane for a comic book anyways, let alone fucking Power Rangers. I was reading a thing from someone in the industry that was like making fun of Boom for getting the Power Rangers license and trying to advertise it, and then like a year later it was one of the best-selling comics on the market, and they're like, what? How the hell are you competing with, like, Batman? You're the Power Rangers.
Hey, when you're going to make an alternate universe Tommy, like, the big bad evil guy...
Have you seen that? It looks, even for Power Rangers, like,
oh yeah, no, it looks
ridiculous.
silly. Oh no, it looks silly as shit.
That said, even when I have fucking hated Power Rangers, which I have for most of my life, but I did love them when I was a kid. I'm not going to pretend that I was always that fucking hipster. I have always kind of liked the look of, like, the Japanese, what is it, Super Sentai or something like that?
Yeah.
Teams, the Power Rangers look.
Yeah, that whole thing.
It's just everything else about it that I end up having problems with.
This was definitely going over well on an all-audio form.
Yes, and especially telling them this is going well and still not explaining
exactly
that you are doing hand motions. I assume at this point that they just are aware that we're constantly, like, fucking, like, cheer team.
It's up to them to think of what hand motion I was making.
Stir in the pot.
So we said we were going to start the Fantastic Four of the week this week, the new news. But then Disney decided to lose its goddamn mind when it came to
Holy
announcements.
Shit. The number of announcements last week.
Goddamn investors meetings.
This is overwhelming.
And that was just the Star Wars stuff in your case. Like, we didn't really talk about, like, the fucking Marvel overload.
Right. Well, and then Jordan comes up to me and starts talking to me about all the Nintendo and Game Awards stuff, and I was like...
Oh yeah, because they announced some shit at the Game Awards.
I was like, this is too much. This is too much. There's too many announcements.
Sephiroth coming to Smash.
Oh, I did know about that, and because everyone in the good food store is, like, real gamers except for pretty much the two of us, they assumed I just knew what was going on.
Oh.
And I don't know how many times I need to explain to my coworkers that I don't own a copy of Smash Bros. I keep meaning to buy one, but I don't.
Somewhat related, I was asked by a coworker yesterday, day before yesterday, if I always played crowd control in World of Warcraft back in the old days because my nickname is Cece. And I was like, oh, honey, I never played World of Warcraft.
That's never really
That's really fucking funny.
I was like, don't worry, I know what crowd control is, but I didn't play that on World of Warcraft.
No, I think the only MMOs... You played some League for a while.
I played League for a hot second.
And you and I played a bunch of Old Republic.
I was definitely a jungler and not a CC character. I should have told him I played Old Republic. He probably would not have known what that one was. But Old Republic, I would love to play again. That was...
I even played a little bit Old Republic. It was a good time.
Every 6 months or so, she and I were like, God, we wish we had time to dive back into it, but who has time for things?
I know.
God, being an adult sucks.
Especially when it comes to, like, MMOs.
Oh,
you really need just to have nothing going on in your life to really be able to get into those properly.
We were just getting to the fun parts. We were going to see the Revan bits, which I've always wanted to fucking, like, get to. And then life took off, and I haven't touched it in, like, 4 years.
Yeah.
Probably been about the same for me. Although I never got that far into it. But I was still having fun screwing around with my Sith Inquisitor.
I think we both finished the main storyline for our characters.
I did for my Jedi Counselor. I didn't for my Smuggler.
Yeah. I think I did for my Knight. And then... Yeah, we actually paid money for it. Like, that's like...
I know, I did too. It was
I don't
weird.
fucking pay money for MMO, like, for much any video game. Pogo's gotten a little bit of my money just because if I'm like, all right, I've played like 300 hours of you. You've earned $5.
Yeah.
Pogo won't take my money. I've tried.
It's for the best. But anyways, to the news and not a 10-year-old video game.
Fine. So there's all of the fucking news. We're going to try to get through this kind of quick. Especially because some of this shit, like, we've talked about some of this before. Some of it is just more, like, clarified.
There was enough that I considered doing, or trying to ask for a, like, news alone episode, but making you edit 2 episodes in a week was, cruel and unusual.
I would have considered it for all of this news, but... First, we'll start with some of the stuff that we can probably just gloss over real quick. There are going to be some streaming series for Disney Plus based off of some of the Pixar shit. There's going to be Baymax based off Big Hero 6. There's going to be a Zootopia Plus, a Tiana show from Princess and the Frog, as well as a Moana show, obviously based on Moana.
Moana, if they're getting Lin-Manuel Miranda to come back and do some more songs for it, I'm a way more in than I am on its own. We don't know. That
would be so excellent.
Yeah. If they do that, I'm in. Otherwise, like, cool, I'm for it, but...
it could be also, even if you didn't get Lynn to come back and do more songs, it's still, like, you still have, like, a Polynesian heroine.
That's very true.
Strong female leader, like, you could still have some very excellent storytelling that fills an important niche that we don't get a lot of.
That's very fair, and I should clarify there that it's not so much like, oh no, they shouldn't make it, but just it didn't pique my interest as much.
Right.
But we're still gonna check it out, I'm sure. Like, we fucking love Moana. I know most of that soundtrack by heart, probably. Because we sing it at each other a lot. A lot.
You're welcome.
Especially that one. And your goal in life is to find a shiny Krabby so you can name it Tamatoa.
Yes.
So there's a whole lot of singing, I'm sure.
I would just straight up name it Jermaine Clement, but...
Yeah, either way.
I'll just need to get 2.
Baymax, I think, is really interesting. I rather they would have just done a Big Hero 6, which I know they've done a Big Hero 6 cartoon for, like, Disney Channel or something like that. But, like,
yeah.
Do a full-on Big Hero 6. Get as many of the original cast back as you can. I am excited for it because I always thought Big Hero 6 has been massively underrepresented when it comes to great superhero shows. I wonder if it's focusing too much on Baymax, if it will oversaturate the character. Like, I kind of wonder, Baymax is so charming, but part of it is because he's not in every single
bit
moment. They did a very good use of him without overusing him. I'm curious if that'll change in he's the main
Baymax.
Character. Yeah.
And it's Baymax with an exclamation point after it. So it's not just Baymax, it's Baymax!
That said, Scott Adsit as Baymax is one of the most charming performances I've ever seen, so...
Not already based on a property, there's also going to be a show called Iwaju. I think I'm saying that right. That's going to be a collaboration with a Pan-African production company named Kugali, and it's going to be an Afro-futuristic tale set in Lagos, Nigeria.
That could be really fun.
I love everything about that sentence, yes.
Theatrical, not series-wise, Encanto is going to be the 60th original animated series, or not series, movie from Walt Disney, inspired by Colombian culture.
Cool. Aren't they doing a East Asian one too?
That's going to be the one right before. That's Kelly Marie Tran in Raya and the Last Dragon.
That one also sounds pretty cool. Less white people princesses, and it tends to be turning out pretty well.
I'm going to skip over a couple of these others. There's a... like, if you want to see more of the dog from Up, there's going to be a Doug Days.
Adorable, but again, like, are you sure you really want to base an entire series around this?
In my opinion, the exciting one from Pixar, because this is one of those pieces of news that I didn't realize I wanted this product so badly. Lightyear starring Chris Evans. In the Toy Story universe, Buzz Lightyear toy is supposed to be based off of a movie series.
Yes.
So they're giving us the movie.
Oh.
And Chris Evans is doing it.
Yes.
They've got Captain America to play Buzz Lightyear.
Yes.
I am so much more into this than I was when I assumed it was Tim Allen recurring the role.
No, Chris Evans.
Because Chris Evans is worlds better than Tim Allen in literally everything. Galaxy Quest is super fucking funny. I can't get over that. I have kind of come to hate Tim Allen.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I've watched Last Man
did it
Standing.
himself.
That's all we need to say.
By watched, you mean...
Your dad put on Last Man Standing, and I didn't leave the room fast enough.
I have a friend whose uncle was cellmates with him back in the day.
Woo!
Tim Allen went to prison?
Tim Allen went to prison a number of times. Drug problems.
Oh, that tracks.
That doesn't surprise.
Pixar's out of the way. Star Wars.
Star Wars!
Actually, real quick, do we want to do Marvel first so we can end with something that we all have something to say about?
Yeah, we could do Marvel first.
Not to just, like, put you in the corner quietly for a while. I just don't want to be like, you're all gauged up. Now be quiet again for a bit, because...
Let me just make sure I have that in front of me right now.
Forcing you to be quiet, and opposed to, we don't really follow Marvel that closely.
I mean, yeah, I pick up a little bit Marvel here and there, but...
You know who Bengal is. You're doing better than most people.
I kind of live mentally in the Star Wars universe. So.
Yeah.
I think we all try to.
Yeah.
Marvel side, then. We got to see more from WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, and What If. All things we already knew were coming.
What If, we hadn't seen anything from What If before. We were just told that it happened. The trailer came out. The thing that interests me about it, beyond just, let's use Uatu the Watcher, is what if T'Challa was the Star-Lord is the greatest idea I never knew I needed.
When you told me that, that was the trailer you were watching on your phone, and I made a comment about I can't actually tell what this trailer you're watching is for because every single trailer has identical music. And I was like, you could be watching a trailer for anything right now. So then, of course, you had to explain to me what it was you were watching, and you said, like, for example, what if T'Challa? And and I just cracked up. I was like, that sounds amazing. I definitely want that story.
They get fucking Chadwick Boseman for... I mean, he recorded it before he died.
Right. They didn't get him just last week.
No, yes, thank you. One, I didn't know we had more Chadwick Boseman Black Panther anywhere to get. So it's just exciting as is.
Yeah.
And two, that is an idea that lets them have fun.
And also, if they really want to, they can put in Easter eggs to the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda.
I'm sure they do. There's so many Easter eggs in the 2 trailers we watched before this.
But I think, while we were watching it, as I said to you, as fun of an idea as it is, I would kind of prefer to see Killmonger as Star-Lord. Especially because I think it makes more sense. It's like, what if instead of them picking fucking what's his name?
T'Challa?
No. Star-Lord.
Peter Quill.
Instead of picking Peter Quill up after his mom dies, pick Killmonger up after his dad gets killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to make more sense to me, but...
That would, yeah.
I mean, they didn't just take Peter because his mom died.
Right, but you can substitute that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would super have watched that too. I'm aboard with this one because it lets them do more weird things.
Yeah. And I've always liked just the idea of the What If comics. I only own one, unfortunately. I have the What If Punisher actually killed Spider-Man during their first encounter.
Oh. My favorite one that I've never read is What If Tony Stark became the Sorcerer Supreme and he just makes a Doctor Strange armor. But one of my all-time favorite series is Spider-Girl, which spun out of a What If series. Ran for over 100 issues from a single What If short story.
I mean, I don't know if you could say that it necessarily spun out of it, but Mighty Thor, Jane as Thor, was a What If story.
Oh, yeah. What If is just fun because, I mean, one, it's just a weird name, but it's one that sticks with you. And they were able to do stuff like, ask the question, and then, blah, 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 What If appears.
I think you have a better idea of what's going on in Loki than I do, even though I saw the setup and you didn't.
Which, yeah, it's fun because you've seen Avengers Endgame and I have not. Although I've picked up kind of through osmosis most of the big things. The only thing that probably gives me a better sign of what's going down is he's with the Time Variance Authority, or the Time Variance Authority's in there, the TVA. They are time police, sort of, and it sure looks like they're using Loki as their secret agent, which Al Ewing a few years ago wrote a book called Loki, Agent of Asgard, which was teen Loki doing, like, Black Ops, sneaky stuff for Asgard. And it was some of the best Loki I've ever read, so if they're going to lean into that angle, there's a lot of traction to the idea.
it just, I mean, I'll watch anything with Hiddleston, I think, so...
And he clearly loves playing Loki, so...
And he might be pretty perfect for Loki,
Yeah.
So... I was intrigued by seeing a lot of Roxxon stuff in the background, especially with Thor: Love and Thunder coming up.
Super looking forward to taking digs at giant corporations, but at the same time, I'm paying Disney for it, so... Whew.
I'm just still hoping we get Big Minotaur Man.
Yes. The thing I noticed most here is that was, Owen Wilson?
Oh, yeah.
Trailer?
As, like, his handler, it seems like.
Yeah, and it looked like... I'm excited to see Owen Wilson not just play Owen Wilson.
Although he seemed to be a little Owen Wilson-y.
Yeah, but, like, middle-aged older man Owen Wilson, as opposed to handsome idiot character that he played for pretty much every movie he's ever done.
Yeah.
They're charming. I tend to like Owen Wilson whenever he's in a movie, don't get me wrong. But he's played essentially the same character
In 90% of his roles.
with varying degrees of intelligence. Like Zoolander at the lowest. And then, I don't know, upper level, they all kind of like even out at his Shanghai Noon character.
I was about to say that.
That one was an author, so I guess
I didn't watch the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing yet.
it looks cool. Then they announced about 13 new series because they realized the Mando makes them crazy money.
Right. Well, I was going to say they confirmed a lot of the casting we had already heard, like Haley Steinfeld and in Hawkeye and stuff. Almost everything that we've reported as rumors for casting for the past few months is true, except they did not confirm Oscar Isaac as Moon Knight.
Real quick with the Hawkeye girl, I already forgot her name. I'm sorry, I don't. Haley Steinfeld, you said?
Yeah.
I have seen on-set pictures of her wearing her Hawkeye costume, and it is pretty much picture perfect.
Awesome.
It looks so good for the Kate Bishop Hawkeye look.
I mean, all accounts seems like that is going to be the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run, so...
Yeah, which was perfect. And they're letting Hawkeye be, like, as obnoxiously purple as I just kind of expect Hawkeye to be. Mm-hmm. Every one of his costumes is wildly purple, and they just put him in, like, boring black leather in every goddamn Marvel movie appearance.
I'm a fan of purple, so I'm a fan of seeing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for the new stuff, Sam Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn in Secret Invasion.
Which we knew they were going to do something with Secret Invasion, and we knew that Sam Jackson was getting a TV show. I wasn't expecting it to be this, and I actually like this a lot better than it being their next
Movie?
Avengers Endgame thing. Like,
Oh, yeah, like their big...
tie this thing off with a bow. Because I like Secret Invasion, but it got a little boring of like, and now you're going to fight this overpowered Super Skrull number 7 with these like roll a dice to figure out what superpowers they stole. But in a TV show where they'll do it in a more contained scale, it could be really cool.
Do you think through all of that, we also end up getting Super Skrull?
I fucking hope so, because Kl'rt is literally the only interesting thing about the Skrulls.
Fair.
Literally that. Nothing else I give a shit about when it comes to the Skrulls.
Don Cheadle is going to return as War Machine in a series called Armor Wars.
Armor Wars is one of the best Iron Man runs ever written, as far as I'm concerned, like storylines. And Don Cheadle can carry a movie, so I would love to see that.
We got Dominic Thorne will be starring as Riri Williams in Ironheart.
We kind of knew Ironheart was coming. Like
It's been rumored for forever now.
Well, and they never really announced it, but you and I have both been like, oh, here's how... I really liked Ironheart as the comic, so I'm looking forward to... I have nothing else on that.
Along with the third Guardians, James Gunn is also going to be doing a Guardians holiday special.
This makes me so fucking happy. That is the ultimate love letter to Star Wars that Guardians already was. Spoiler alert, that's next week's episode.
Yeah.
The fucking Star Wars holiday. And we'll get there. We'll get there.
So it's been confirmed that Christian Bale will be playing Gore the God Butcher in Love and Thunder.
Which actually confirms what story I'm doing for Thor when we're doing Noob Island. Because I was between, like, the God Butcher in a different one. I'm like, oh fuck, now I gotta.
God Butcher's fun.
It's a great run.
I do think that he is more perfect for Dario Agger, but
yes, shitty rock. We know he can play a somewhat shitty billionaire. We watched him in 3 Batman movies.
right, and not to mention like being a psychopathic yuppie as we saw in American Psycho.
It will be fun to see him not play the same character, although there's a really big danger that Gore is going to be a very forgettable villain in this.
And he's almost certainly going to be a CG fest.
Yeah. I just hope that we don't get Christopher Eccleston in the second Thor movie where they get one of the greatest doctors of all doctors, Doctor Who's, and I wouldn't have known it was him.
Exactly. And Marvel does kind of shortchange their villains a bit.
That's why we're all obsessed with Killmonger still.
Peyton Reed will be returning to direct Ant-Man and the Wasp 3, now subtitled Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 Quantumania.
Okay. Cool. I got nothing against them. I got nothing really for them either. They're fun.
And that is also confirmed Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country being Kang the Conqueror.
That's potentially much more interesting to me.
The new Doctor Strange movie has been confirmed to impact upon Spider-Man 3.
We're hearing a bunch of rumors about Spider-Man 3.
I was about to bring that up too, so the non-Marvel news from this week that would have been the big news if they wouldn't have done this investor call is that Alfred Molina has been confirmed to be in Spider-Man 3.
I'm hoping they just have him play a different version of, like, this world's version of Doc Ock, but still do Molina. Because Molina was fucking great as Doc Ock. But it really, all the rumors right now are a live-action Spider-Verse, and as far as I'm concerned, that's the last thing we need. We already have Spider-Verse.
The perfect Spider-Verse.
They're not going to top that story. They're not going to top how they're telling that story. Sure, it would be cool to see Tobey and Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man again. They both had a lot of fun as the role. They were both good in the role. But I'm going to compare it to one of the most perfect superhero movies ever made that came out, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, man, give us some time.
To go with that, it is still heavily rumored that Jamie Foxx will be appearing in it as well.
Again, he was fine as Electro.
The Electro was terrible, but he was fine.
The Max Dillon version of it wasn't very interesting, but also he wasn't playing anything that really resembled an Electro we knew.
Right.
Jamie Foxx is a good actor, so cool. I think you could do it.
The new Doctor Strange will also be for sure introducing Xochitl Gomez as America Chavez.
Fuck yes, I did not know that. America Chavez is sweet.
And with that Spider-Man little side thing, John Watts has also been pegged by Marvel to bring the Fantastic Four into the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm very excited. I really am nervous. There have been 3 versions of the Fantastic Four made for movies. One of them never even got bothered to get released. It was so bad. Also, I don't know if it was supposed... That's a whole story for a different weird day. It's really easy to fuck up the Fantastic Four, but you can do such a good comic movie with the Fantastic Four. I'm glad to see them jumping in with it. I believe they'll actually try. And I was worried they were going to get the short shift because X-Men was going to overshadow all. Mm-hmm. Which they're being real careful on the X-Men of they're not rushing to bring them in.
Which is good.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, that's a lot of characters to bring in, too.
And bringing in the X-Men is a huge thing. So give it its time and its room to breathe first.
I'm going to be so excited to see Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Again, it'll be a thing they could have fun with if they let it have a sense of whimsy.
Who do you think they put as their first villain in the universe?
I mean, the obvious answer is fucking Doom, but Doom is one of the, 5 greatest supervillains ever created in history. So the obvious answer is Doom. I would almost love to see someone like the Mole Man.
Mole Man would be super.
Or El Diablo, or
Annihilus.
Annihilus would be an obvious one. For some reason, I would really love the Red Ghost and his super apes. mostly because he's a crazy Russian who can, like, phase out, like, Kitty Pryde style, who has fucking genetically engineered apes hanging out with him. And how is that not on everyone's radar? Because it's terrible.
Do you know enough to know if that was actually based on Stalin's ape-man experiments?
I don't know.
Okay.
No one likes to talk about the Red Ghost. He just shows up every once in a while in, like, small panels because comic book writers cannot get over this concept.
Good to know. That's it on the Marvel side, unless you can think of something I missed?
Miss Marvel will be appearing in Captain Marvel 2, along with Monica Rambeau.
And they will not be recasting Chadwick,
which we kind of already knew. I'm real excited for Miss Marvel because I really like Miss Marvel. Just that's it. That's all. Oh, and they announced a director for Captain Marvel 2, but I don't know who it is.
I'm sure I just looked at it and completely... Look it up. Have fun.
There's so much news today, guys.
There's so much news. We're going to go into the Star Wars part.
Star Wars!
Dun, 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 dun.
I'm dancing to this. You can't see that. It's
All
okay.
right. So first off, we just watched this trailer right beforehand. Bad Batch. The trailer looked dope. I know nothing about the characters because I'm not that far in Clone Wars yet.
Bad Batch is from Season 7 of Clone Wars, which is top 3, possibly top 5, definitely top 5 greatest Star Wars things ever created. Clone Wars is good. Clone Wars Season 7 is a fucking work of art by the end of it. It is a group of, like, Black Ops clones that have all been genetically modified, so, like, one of them is super smart, one of them's really strong. It's basically, what if we had an Avengers team mixed with the fucking, like, A-team working for us?
With better aim, hopefully.
With better aim, yes, and they're all fucking unhinged.
This might get me to go through Clone Wars even faster. Now that I see that John Rambo is in the fucking Star Wars universe, that's all I could think of when I saw that one. So,
what makes me most excited about this is the animated one that we saw something of, and it's in the style that Clone Wars and Rebels was in. And I know, hon, you're not a huge fan of that style.
Well, you and I talked about this the other day. I think the animated series have opportunities to tell a lot better stories in a lot of ways because animation's more flexible and allows for a wider range of stories. Mm-hmm. But I'm not a huge fan of that animation style. It doesn't bother me to the point where I can't, like, watch it. Like it has. I know I've talked to other people who just cannot get into those animated series.
I've met the same.
But, you know, like, I will gladly watch any animated Star Wars they come out with. Yeah, it's, you know, and I understand, I mean, that style is a lot cheaper to produce than something that might be a lot prettier, in my opinion.
I don't remember. Have you ever seen the 2D Clone Wars one, the, like, traditional animation that the Genndy Tartakovsky, the Samurai Jack guy, did?
I think I saw a little bit of it, not, like, sat down and watched it, but maybe saw a clip from
Mace
that.
Windu fucking up the droids.
Yes! You know, let's let Samurai Jack do Star Wars things. That style is, like, adapting Tartakovsky into 3D. In the 2D, it's definitely a style designed for 2D, although I have become quite fond of it. Largely because I love Rebels as much as I do. So I'll fucking swear by Rebels every day of the year.
Yeah. I'm excited for the time frame that Bad Batch is happening because Star Wars does a lot of time skip. And there's quite a bit of gap between the end of Clone Wars and Rebels. And it's always fascinating to see
what happened.
The transition, yeah.
The thing I'm happiest about is, as I said, the fact that they're doing this animated because they announced so many live-action shows, and everyone was like, we need a live-action Ahsoka, which we'll get to in a moment. But I really love animation, and it's the same way that they're talking about doing a live-action Spider-Verse. We don't need that. We already have this done so well in animation. It just drives me nuts that a lot of times animation is treated as the lesser than.
Right.
So I think the fact that they're still like, no, we're doing Bad Batch in animation makes me like, fuck yeah. Give proper respect where it's due.
Like I said, I thought it looked dope. Just the name, The Bad Batch, reminds me of like The Dirty Dozen, which super big fan of that movie.
Very accurate to what it...
Yeah.
So I'm in. I just got to get caught up in Clone Wars, which I have started. Like the Ahsoka episode of fucking Mando. I was like, oh, I need to watch more
it's
right
time
after
to get back into this. Yes.
And it was funny because I was like, as I turned it back on, I was like, well, I know that I technically got past this episode, but that's when I was watching on Netflix, and currently on Disney Plus, I'm up to the Mandalore plot.
Ooh, the Mandalore plot gets pretty good. It starts slow, but the trailer shows all of them being it looks like they're still working for the Empire, or they might still be working for the Empire. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Well, that was one thing I really liked about that trailer, is they were very good at making it difficult to tell if the Bad Batch goes on to work for the Empire, if they see what's happening and they go, no, and turn against it. We really, when we, looking at like what we know of what happened to the clones after Order 66, when they are basically told by the Empire, you're no longer needed, and are put into retirement. Once again, well, when exactly does that happen? Where is the gray area? How, and how do the clones, react to the situation? We know that some clones no longer had a chip at that point. Do the Bad Batch have chips for Order 66? There's a lot of questions that this show has an opportunity
to answer.
Yeah, potentially opportunities to answer.
We saw that they were working for Tarkin at one point. Like, Tarkin was talking to them, at least, being like, well done, interesting.
Well, even that, having met other Star Wars villains, that could have very easily been, they've been caught and he's giving them a lecture. That was, at first that was my instinct too, was, oh, they did a job for Tarkin. But thinking about it later, I was like, oh, or he's doing a Thrawn thing of how he's like talking to his...
I was going to say, on the other side of that, when they first gave their like blip of this is what Bad Batch is going to be, they made it sound like they might not be working for the Empire. So my personal theory is it's going to start with them working for the Empire, and then somewhere in the season
they're going to be like, fuck this noise.
They're going to go A-Team, as I said. Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of my guess as well, especially looking at the trailer where there is scenes where you're like, wow, that looks like they're fighting the Empire. No, that looks like a little... it's very unclear.
There's a lot of lasers. I can't see past them.
Yeah, are they fighting with other clone troopers? Are they fighting against other clone troopers? Or is this stormtroopers now that they're, there's going to be a transition from clone troopers to stormtroopers, so... Well,
and without giving away too much, because you haven't finished Clone Wars, it's Fives, one of the clones from Clone Wars, ends up joining the Bad Batch in it. And Fives has plenty of reason to distrust.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see how and where this goes.
Nice.
We're excited. That's the...
Yeah.
Short it down to 2 words, we're excited.
To go along on the animated side of things, they've also announced Star Wars Visions, which is an anime-inspired anthology series created by a bunch of different Japanese animation houses that are just kind of go have fun in Star Wars.
It's the Animatrix, but for Star Wars as a full series. Done. Let's do that. Fun. Animatrix was great. Batman's Animatrix, I can't remember what that one was called, but still, also freaking great. Do it with Star Wars? Hell yeah.
And a droid story coming from ILM and Lucasfilm.
I know literally nothing about that one other than I saw the name Droid Story.
I believe it's supposed to be C-3PO and R2-D2 and a newcomer of some sort. And I don't even think we know who the newcomer is, if it's another droid or if it's another human, but it's going to be kind of them, I think, in like almost like a mentor or guiding type role for whoever this newcomer is.
I'm less excited about it being C-3PO and R2-D2, but I also deeply love C-3PO and R2-D2, so fuck yeah. Keep giving Anthony Williams Star Wars work. Sorry. Interrupted you.
I think it could go either way easily. I mean, R2-D2 and C-3PO worked very well in the original trilogy, and then they got too annoying. Like their comedic use in the prequels at times was like, oh god, and it was, you know, catering to like a very specific age group that was going to be in the theater. But then I thought they were well used again later. So
yeah, I liked them a lot better in the sequels. Although, like everything in the sequels, they were never quite sure what they were doing. I like the sequels, but I'll admit there's its flaws.
Yeah, so I think, like, you know, as long as the writer uses them, you know, appropriately, it could be very fun. It could be very cute. You like droids?
They appear in an episode of Rebels, and I was really worried they were going to join the Rebels cast full time. But once I realized they didn't, it became one of my favorite episodes of the first season, because it's good use of the characters, but again, as I said, and I've now said about 15 times about 15 different things, I do worry about oversaturation of those somewhat comedic side characters.
Off of animation, into live action.
Bunch of cool shit here, as much as I was just being like, no, animation deserves full credit.
2 Mando spin-offs. We have
And they
Rangers of the New Republic, which we know pretty much nothing about.
Part of me wants it to be Cara Dune and Mayfeld. I don't know why. I just want them, like...
Especially after this last episode.
That's what I was watching. I was like, I never would have thought that. But no, watching that now, fuck yeah. Also, this episode made me fucking care about Mayfeld. Good job, Bill Burr.
Bring in Oliphant, too. Cobb Vanth, I'm down.
Well, before
Yes,
this episode...
actually.
Before we watched this episode, I assumed it was going to potentially be like the 2 New Republic guys in the X-Wings.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Those guys tooling around?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like, you know, they're off doing ranger-y things for the New Republic in the Outer Rim. But...
Chips in space?
Yeah. But then, you know, we watched this episode and yeah, we were like, that would be fun to have a Cara Dune Mayfield team up.
Whatever I might think of Gina Carrero, but yeah.
Yeah.
It could all, you know, they could be characters we haven't even
That's
seen
kind
yet. We
of
have
what I
one more
hope for.
We have one more episode, so it could be something that comes out of that. It's hard to say.
It does seem like it's going to be a limited series. So theoretically, you could even have, like, because it's only going to be 8 episodes or so, throw Bo-Katan in there for some reason.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of things it could be. I'm pretty excited for it because I know so little, and I'm looking forward to seeing the New Republic because we haven't spent any time with them. The first time we see the New Republic in the Disney version, they're blown the fuck up.
Yeah.
And then they're here in this one, but they're like overworked and stretched too thin.
Well, and for me, having read
The Leia
Bloodline, which is about which happens before the sequels, when Leia is actually a senator for the New Republic, is quite a bit further in at this point. At that point in the story, Kylo Ren Ben is already like off training with Luke. This is like just before he finds out that Darth Vader is his grandfather. So like he hasn't like
that's like 20
realized
years after Mando still. Like,
right. So that happens you know, you're kind of thrown in the middle of the New Republic, but this is also, that book is also dealing with the beginnings of them realizing that the Empire never really went away and has been working in the shadows, sort of. So, yeah, and it's still Carrie Fisher, or I guess not Carrie Fisher because it's a book. It's still Leia going off and being very much
Leia.
like, yeah, like, oh sure, I'm a politician with a gun.
Only in a fictional universe do I not find that sentence utterly horrifying.
Being a limited series, it's supposedly going to culminate in a crossover with Mando and the recently announced Ahsoka.
Yes.
Did not know that. That's kind of cool. So it might be their defenders.
It sounds like it's going to be their defenders, and theoretically, with all 3 of these properties coming together, their big bad is probably going to be Thrawn.
I really like defenders.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I would super take a big bad Thrawn. Especially, I mean, we know that Ahsoka's looking for Thrawn, which means she's looking probably for Ezra Bridger, which means we're probably...
Oh, yeah. I know who.
Okay,
Ezra
sorry,
is.
just make
Which means we're probably also going to get Sabine.
Sabine is the most
love.
perfect Mandalorian ever created. I love her.
I do think that this is going to contain minor spoilers for Mando, but I do think that the announcement of the Ahsoka show means there's less of a chance that it's Ezra that responds to Grogu's call.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because I think he's been the odds-on favorite for most people.
Either Ezra
Which
or
would be
Luke,
fun.
and I don't really want it to be Luke either.
I don't think it's gonna. I don't really see it being Luke. My hope
Cal
is.
Kestis.
I'm
Your fucking video game guy.
I'm gunning for a whole new character. Like
That would
you
make
know,
me happiest.
Yeah.
I think it's way out there. I heard somebody throw out that because they do seem to be trying to make all of the things in Legends canon again, that it could
Star
be
Killer.
Mara Jade.
See, I really love Mara Jade, and I've talked about this before. Part of what I love about Mara Jade was the relationship between Luke and Mara, though.
Exactly.
And I think Luke was weakened as a character not getting Mara Jade. And I think Mara Jade would be weakened not having Luke. And I don't want it to be like, oh, no, we can't do her because she can't have the man. Like, she can't be the romantic interest. But also, as I said, I just loved that combo so much that I don't know if I want Mara without it, in the same way that I'm like, God damn it, Luke. You see what happens when you don't marry the Emperor's personal assassin? You suck. You're great. I love you, Mark Hamill. Performance of a lifetime. But you suck.
Yep. I think that one's a long shot, but I think it's an interesting one to think about.
Yeah. Well, and you could bring someone named Mara Jade and give them a completely different, that's kind of what we got when we got Darth Maul coming back when in Clone Wars and Rebels. Like, he is definitely not the same Darth Maul, and he is a much better character in Clone Wars and Rebels than he was in Phantom Menace. Like,
In Phantom Menace, he looks cool as shit, but he's bland. In this one, I don't always
he's
like him, but he's interesting, yeah.
yeah.
You haven't gotten there yet, have you? Okay, moving on! He's fucking cool.
It's okay. I actually kept myself pretty well spoiled when Rebels was coming out.
Too.
I was just too interested in what was going on, and I did not have enough time to be putting in that time myself.
I've
So I
been
was
there.
like,
There's a few comic series I follow that way.
I was like, yeah, like every article that came out after the episode, I was like, what happened? What happened?
They did what?
Did they just do fucking time trap? Anyway.
Right.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, and then those episodes were sick.
God, that was cool.
But official Ahsoka show. Everyone kind of guessed it because that episode did feel like a backdoor
Oh, yeah.
pilot.
Mando
Oh, yeah.
Season 2 is the backdoor pilot after backdoor pilot. I mean, they did a very good job of it being a standalone series on its own. It's not Avengers Age of Ultron where they forgot to have a plot and story while doing backdoor pilots. But, yeah. Pretty much every episode has been like we're prepping for some later shit.
Which has brought the fantastic joke of the whole season is Mando is a side character and they keep trying to get him into the main plot and he's like, no, I'm just trying to find a good preschool for my son.
Became the main character at the end of this episode, but that's for... we'll get there. I'm sorry.
We had another one that we knew was coming off of the series. Or no, we're still on series. My bad. Andor. Star Wars.
Cassian Andor, Rogue One guy before Rogue One, knew it was coming. Cool. I really liked him. He really liked him. I watched some of their behind the scenes stuff. They put some fucking time and effort into this. They said over 6,000 separate characters had to get costumed or something like that. Like,
He might be the most interesting character for me that we've run across in the live action Star Wars because he's the only one that pretty much said on screen, look, like, we're fighting a war. I might be on the good side, but I've had to do some fucked up shit to make this
he
stuff
directly
happen.
says, I've done terrible things.
Yeah.
Like,
And I think that, really speaks to like what the rebellion has had to do. But also makes me confident that we will probably get more. Oh shit! We talked about this the other day. What is his name?
K2SO.
No.
Oh, yeah, Silent Tunic is K2SO. I didn't even think of that. We're going to get this droid back.
Which would be fantastic. No. Rebel leader,
Gale? Bail? Organa?
No.
Okay.
Oh, shit. We just talked about this the other day, and now I can't remember his name.
Give me a hint.
Reds.
Oh, fucking black guy gets all fucked up. He's, the Renegades. He raised Jyn Erso.
Yes, raised Jyn
Erso. Saw Gerrera.
Yes,
Saw Gerrera,
thank you.
played by...
Forrest Whitaker.
Thank you.
Because anytime we get Saw Gerrera, we get some very, like, okay, moral line, where's the moral line when it comes to doing what needs to be done for the sake of good, even if
you're being a fucking
even
bastard.
if you're being really shitty. And Saw is always, anytime Saw comes up, that question comes up of like, okay, if are we being just as bad as the bad guys? Like, where do we draw the line on how far we're willing to go to get shit done? And so when, you know, if you're bringing Cassian in, I feel like there's a good chance we might get more Saw, which excites me because he's really cool.
I mean, the first time we ever see Cassian, he shoots his informant dead because it was the only way to get away in time. And he thinks Saw goes too far.
Right.
So, like, damn, son, let's see what fucked up things happened there. Forrest Whitaker seems to really like playing Saw. I mean, he came back for Rebels. Mm-hmm. I'm sure they could convince him to come back for this. And I have just kind of reached the point that if Forrest Whitaker wants to do something, I'm probably willing to watch it.
Yeah, no, that's true. He's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Even in Bloodsport.
Wow, that's probably bad.
I think a lot of people forget he was in Bloodsport, but...
I think a lot of people try to forget about Bloodsport there, big guy.
So we knew the Obi-Wan Kenobi show was coming.
And we have a date for it now, I want to say? Or
I don't know if we have like a hard date for it, but the bigger part of it is that Hayden Christensen is going to be reprising his role as the fallen Anakin Skywalker for it.
So hear me out. So this is my proposal for what this series will be.
Is this a real proposal, or is this something that's going to make us laugh and make me mad on the inside?
This is the one I already told you about, which is the entire series is us just following Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader, and we just hear
Sassy One Kenobi.
Yes, we just hear Kenobi just through the Force pestering him and being like, calling him a dumbass basically from Tatooine, but you don't.
Anakin. Hey, Anakin.
Knock it off.
Sand.
I still have the higher ground, Anakin. And just the entire series is Darth Vader trying to go about his day, and you can't, like, he keeps just getting interrupted by Obi-Wan's voice, like, fucking following him around.
What's important to me, beyond just that happening word for word, that's the most important part, but otherwise, never having them actually meet up, because it's very clear in New Hope that they have not seen each other since the battle, since Mustafar. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I've seen other things retconned, and they could technically be like, well, they never actually said that they haven't seen each other since that day. But I feel like that is more powerful if we keep it that, like, we can have Hayden Christensen hunting down Obi-Wan. Or we could have it being flashbacks, or there's all sorts of things we could do. I don't want another Obi-Wan versus Anakin fight, because I don't want to cheapen the two that we already have. Even though one's way overdone and the other one's awful.
Yeah.
But you don't care because it's the first Star Wars.
You could have very near misses too, you know.
That would be great.
Yeah, where clearly, like, they have just missed each other. One of them maybe sees, like, their, like, opportunity being missed, you know. But yeah, I think having them actually face to face again, and I think that would also put Obi-Wan's mission of protecting Luke at risk if they actually manage to get too close together.
I haven't thought about the Obi-Wan show too much. Like, I'm excited for
it,
but
I don't really know what to expect. Yeah. I mean, I guess we have an idea of what time period it takes place in.
10 years after Revenge of the Sith, I believe.
Another point that we've never really seen.
Yeah. And, as far as we've all been imagining for decades in our mind space, he's just been hanging out on Tatooine, which, clearly Mandalorian has, right? As we've seen in Mandalorian, there's plenty of stories to be told on Tatooine.
You say that every time you say the name Tatooine.
It's because when we were playing Old Republic and we get to Tatooine, when I first got there, I was so excited to get to Tatooine. And then when you're there for like 10 hours, it's so...
You're just like, I hate sand.
So there's so much to do, and it's big planet. It takes forever to travel anywhere, and pretty soon you're like, I hate for Tatooine. But still, anytime Tatooine comes up,
Tatooine.
It's my response is Tatooine.
I don't have huge thoughts on Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor was easily the best part of the prequels. Cool.
Yeah. I'll take more Ian.
Yeah.
So we have Justin Simeon, who did both the movie and the show for Dear White People, as well as Bad Hair over on Hulu, will be helming Lando.
Which they haven't announced
Which
where,
Lando?
what, anything, but there had been the rumor that you had a while back that was old Lando telling stories about when he was young and then going to Donald Glover playing it, which would make me so happy.
That would be fun.
I've always loved Lando, and in the last 5 years, getting to see both of them again and getting to see Old Man Lando and Young Lando with Donald Glover, both of them, it really has just brought my love of the character up to a new zenith. He's underused.
And you could have such fun stories. And you could do a very, episodic stories, where each episode is a self-contained story, because he just goes off on shenanigans.
He's not even a smuggler. He's just out there. He's just, for some reason, he's gambling and then being like, oh shit, I'm out of money. Better go do a thing.
Yeah, you could have such fun, basically bringing the Star Wars universe and stuff that you do when you live and work in the Star Wars universe to life with a more episodic...
Well, and the fun thing about Lando is he can be the hero or he can be the villain. Really easily, but not in as grim a way as, when Mando, you're like, I'm not sure if you're on the side of right there, Mando.
Right.
Right, yeah. The fun, quirky...
Lando and Mando.
Yeah.
The Lando Mando Adventure Hour? Yes.
Oh, yes, let's do that. New proposal. New spin-off proposed.
Let General Nerdery control Star Wars. The GoFundMe page.
Yeah, Lando's going to be awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't care what happens. As long as they get one of the two,
gonna
we'll
be
be fine.
Well, and it is another limited series, so there's no reason they couldn't just airdrop a fuck ton of money on Donald Glover's place.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out
And
there.
again, Donald Glover clearly loved playing Lando.
And then, this might be the one I'm most excited about, actually.
Acolyte?
The Acolyte. They had already said, we had already knew that Leslie Headland, who did Russian Doll, was getting a show. It's been now revealed that it's going to be The Acolyte, a series following a dark side user in the last days of the High Republic era.
Which we didn't ever know if we were going to get any video stuff in the High Republic era, or if it was just going to be books and comics. So just that confirmation alone is exciting.
I've been following all these concept art drops.
It
and
looks sick.
High Republic could be super fucking fun.
Yes.
It looks sick, and it does the proud tradition of cribbing unused Star Wars designs for their own advantage.
Excellent.
Oh, we didn't use this in episode 3, but we're using it now. Fuck yeah, bud.
What else did Ralph McQuarrie draw?
We're running out of shit.
Right? Zeb was originally
Chewbacca's original look.
yeah, yeah, and so we get both. We get the Wookiees we ended up with, and then we get Zeb Aurelius, who's also fun.
I can't think of what he is now. That doesn't matter. But his species.
Yeah, we get recycle that shit, use it. It's good.
Yeah.
But Solo back.
And I think it could be a really interesting story because I have a feeling they're not going to keep our protagonist Sith the entire time.
she's a female Darksider during that time. You could do a lot of really interesting stuff with that.
I think it's going to be like that character falling away from the dark side while the dark side is actually on the rise.
That could be really interesting. It could also just be interesting to have a series of the bad guys.
It could be.
I'm not usually in favor of that. I am not a bad guy at heart, hopefully. But you could do it. And we have enough other stuff that it'd be interesting.
As long as you're writing very compelling bad guys, I think. Like, if you're writing, someone as compelling as Thrawn, if it is just, just...
If it's Kylo Ren, I'm not interested.
Right.
If it's Thrawn, I am.
Yeah, I don't... Exactly. I want someone who's a complicated bad guy and holds my interest and not, just someone who's just like, well, this person's just evil. That's just why they're that way. That's boring. We don't need any more of that.
I guess thinking back on it, one of my favorite shows of all time, all of the protagonists were technically bad guys because I fucking love Sons of Anarchy, so.
Yeah. It can be done. I am curious to see what it is. They won't be, but I really kind of want it to be a Twi'lek because I really love evil Twi'lek Sith thanks to Star Wars Legacy, and if I can't have Star Wars Legacy and I can't think of Darth Talon, then give me a prequel version of Angry Darth Talon Twi'lek. Of course, sir. Maybe give her something more to wear than a fucking bikini, but it looked good. Jan Durasema is a great artist, but also don't lightsaber fight in tube tops.
Patty Jenkins, famous for directing Wonder Woman, will be doing Rogue Squadron.
And that was such a fun, little trailer, if you can even really call it a trailer, that she did. Especially when she is going to go get in an X-Wing.
She rollerblades to a car that they probably got paid a lot of money to show that specific brand of car, even though I don't know what it is. It looked like a car commercial at that moment. I'm sorry.
Takes off her rollerblades, and you at a moment were like, is she taking her pants off? What is happening? And
also I was like, why are they rollerblading in Star Wars? I've never seen that before.
And then the next thing you know, she's putting on a squadron helm and
pulls up the orange jumpsuit
and heads for an X-Wing parked along all the airplanes, which, could you imagine if you, went to an airport and, there's all those airplanes, and then there's an X-Wing parked there? I, too, would immediately rollerblade to a car.
And take off my pants, yeah.
And go get in that X-Wing. I'd be like, oh, it's happening.
I've literally dreamed of this. And she did have a nice story about her dad was a Air Force pilot, and she used to watch him fly his planes, and then he died. And she's like, I need to tell the greatest fucking aircraft story of all, pilot story of all time. I'm like, do you want to do it in Star Wars? And she's like, yeah, I do.
I couldn't find the perfect story, and now I have.
From what I hear, this takes place after the sequel trilogy, so they are going to continue to go forward, which kind of makes me happy because everyone's like, oh, who's going to be Luke and Wedge like in the books?
Right.
I don't necessarily want that. As I have the books. I want new stories. And I want to know what happens after the sequel trilogy, because I don't hate the sequel trilogy, so fucking hit me, man.
Yeah. There's just after the original trilogy, there's a whole new world. And
they can do anything.
I don't care if I get Luke or Wedge. Give me Corran Horn.
Put Corran, years later. Sure, that's fine. Corran's story was fucking awesome.
Jedi might still be my favorite piece of expanded universe material.
I'm a sucker for the Corellian Jedi. They're like, they wear green robes. And 10-year-old me was like, you can't get cooler than that.
Which is why
I own green Jedi robes. Yes. I am true to myself.
And we didn't even get a full title treatment, but I think it says a lot with what we saw from Taika's, which they confirmed is being written. Star Wars in a blue Schoolhouse Rockish type font.
And they were like, we are doing weird things that we never would have considered. I'm like, fuck yeah. I mean, again, we've talked about my love of Thor Ragnarok on this show. I'll let him do whatever the fuck he wants. He's proven he can do excellent sci-fi. Also, the season 1 finale of Mandalorian, he was perfect.
It could be so much fun. Well, and so I've talked about this with Matt, our other big Star Wars nerd fan, and what we love about the Star Wars universe is you can tell any genre of story within it. Like, sure, it started out as a space fantasy or even a space opera, if you want to go that route. But now we've got a space western told in it. We've got, several animated series that, fit in kind of their own genre.
We have heist movies. We have political intrigue.
Yeah, war. We have Rogue One is very much a war movie in the style of
Dirty Dozen.
Saving Private Ryan, things like that. Let's see where Taika fuck, he could tell whatever story he fucking wants.
Somehow,
he can tell whatever story he fucking wants anyway, and I will watch it.
He could do the we always make a joke about running a tabletop where we all play the band members from the cantina.
Oh my god!
Or the Max Rebo band, maybe, or like he could
do that.
He could fucking tell the story of the stupid cantina band. It would be.
Somehow,
incredible.
IG-11 has been recreated, and it's just a movie of IG-11 being, like, murder nurse.
Gets hired to,
Gets hired to babysit again,
Give me Taika Waititi giving us the Lobot story. I'm down.
Yeah,
never would have thought of that, yeah. Recast him as Taika and be like, don't even worry about it. Just...
Or make him Stu.
Tag and Bink are dead, so they're kind of like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Yes.
But told through Taika's eyes. Oh my god, that would be good.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what ends up coming of that. That's all the news, which is good because it's
all the news.
It's almost an entire episode.
Jesus Christ! So we swear this this episode is about Good Omens, and we will get to that right after this. So, pulling away from Star Wars briefly, although I realize that we could pretty much just make General Nerdery Star Wars podcast number 472 and be perfectly happy doing it. But, Good Omens. Specifically, the TV show instead of the book this time.
Because it got adapted.
Yeah, finally.
And it's so good!
Finally is a good way to put it.
Yes.
Because we should go in on the fact that they were talking about adapting this since, the mid-90s?
Yes.
At least.
Well, and, Terry and Neil had tried multiple times. Contracts just didn't work out. At one point, I think Terry Gilliam?
I was about to say Terry Gilliam was attached to direct a movie version, I believe, at one point, which is kind of perfect, considering...
If he could have done it, it would not have worked as a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Neil says that at one point in the commentary on the DVD is there is no other time we could have made this, because being able to do it as a miniseries and have backing of unfortunately Amazon, but still getting to have as much freedom over it as he did because of the time that we are in for making miniseries and things, it allowed him to do something that I think Terry would have really enjoyed. And
that was a major consideration, the entire production.
Right. That was the voice in Neil's head was, would Terry like this? Is this how Terry would have wanted it? And he actually, at times when, producers or whatnot were saying, we can't have this scene this way. What about this cheaper way? And Neil would go, is this how Terry would Terry have said? And he said, no, Terry would have said, no, fuck this. We're doing it this way. And so he put his
foot down.
He put his foot down. And, there were times where they did have to cut, certain thing. My favorite scene, the drunk scene, was originally much longer and it had to be pared down. They had to cut out the other four horsemen,
That's the biggest tragedy of it.
There were things, but I do think that, this was Terry's basically dying wish to Neil was to make this, and
Neil was like, God damn it, Terry.
Damn it, Terry, I have other projects I'm working on, and now I have to stop all of them to make this. But, I think it would have made Terry proud. And it was huge for so many people, not just fans of the book, but so many people had their lives changed by this miniseries. And that, to me, is incredible.
I guess to start with, I'm trying to figure out there's only a few things that I really specifically want to talk about, but I guess let's start with their choices of actors. Specifically, I was thinking, you have a thing.
Oh, no. I was about to agree. Like, casting is a good place to start because that's the kind of the weird thing that everyone was always waiting for. Like, who's going to play who? I remember when I first jumped on following the pre-production of this when it was still in development hell, the favorites at that time to play our leads were Robin Williams as Aziraphale and Johnny Depp as Crowley.
I really hate that.
I loved it at the time.
I'm sorry, I really hate that.
Okay, so now my brain is going into the alternate reality, and it would not have been as good as what we got, but it would have been so surreal and weird, like...
My biggest problem is they're both Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
But Robin Williams was great. I've never thought of Aziraphale as coked out as that would have been. Even after he got off the stuff, Williams' style was...
Although he could roll it back. We've seen him in super serious
That's
roles.
unfair of me. And I love Robin Williams. I am in no way knocking on that. He always wanted to play the Riddler, and God, I would have loved that.
That would have been super.
Although,
I almost would have preferred him as Trickster.
Yes, that would have been better. But when they first announced it's David Tennant and, what is that, Michael
Sheen.
Thank you. They didn't say which one was which at first, and everyone's like, it's going to be Crowley. And I'm like, God, but he would play a great Aziraphale, too.
Right, and I think that was part of why they worked so well together, is either of those actors could have played either of those parts. And
Sheen plays a serial killer in a show now. Like, he can do dark and creepy.
Yeah. And as we know, David Tennant, having been the Doctor, can do light and fun, but can also, as the Purple Man in
fucking Jessica
Jones, can play a very fucked up dark character. And really, if you think about it, Crowley is
kind of horrifying sometimes.
He's kind of horrifying, but he's somewhere between the extremes. I mean, he's not as fucked up as, Hastur and Ligger, but he's certainly, not the innocent goody two-shoes of Aziraphale at the same time.
David Tennant was so over the top. This is the only role that you could have done that swagger that he did for literally every scene and have it be picture perfect. Any other character, I feel like I would have been like, tone it down, dude.
Right. And I think, it perfectly encompasses that sauntered vaguely downward. He saunters everywhere. Mm-hmm. He is the definition of
full
saunter.
Body saunter. I'm doing the motion again. I can't stop myself.
I think, I mean, obviously it ended up being awesome. I think when it was first announced, I would have been more hesitant on that if I had not seen the remake of Fright Night, where he plays this super pompous supposed vampire slayer and expert occultist who's actually kind of a coward behind the scenes.
Oh, I saw a trailer for that once.
And he's amazing in that role. And it was the thing I was like, oh yeah, he could play Crowley really well, actually. After that,
Tennant's got some fucking range. He's playing a serial killer, but one that actually was really boring as a person. The only interesting thing about him is that he
was a serial killer,
murdered 8 people, and he worked very hard to and agreed to do this because it was a way to explore a serial killer without glorifying the serial killer, which almost never happens. Anytime, let's make a TV show about a serial killer, and then we fucking make Dexter.
One part that I really appreciated from when we watched the commentary version was Neil pointed out the exact scene that he wrote and realized, I need David Tennant to play Crowley. And that was the church scene where he's having to dance down the church because he's on hallowed ground. And he wrote that scene and then he's like, God, I need an actor who can not only do the dialogue, but who could pull off this like silly dance thing I've just put in the script? And he was like, I need David Tennant. And he announced this, and of course, I think he said the producers were like, Neil, no, Neil. And he was like, yes, yes.
Now, he never says if they were no Neil because, like, they thought Tennant would be expensive, or if they were just hesitant to put the Doctor in this show.
Right.
Because, I mean, there's always the danger of...
Or it could have even just been scheduling. Getting, you know, someone who is in a lot of things. It can sometimes be hard, and so it may have been like, well, it's going to be tough to, like, schedule in. But Neil was like, nope.
Especially for a 109-day shooting schedule. So
that's pretty condensed for 6 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he already had Michael Sheen by that point. I do want to talk...
Sheen was a funny one for me coming into that, because I actually have not seen very many things with Sheen, except... anytime,
actually.
the thing I think of him immediately is he's the main werewolf Lucian in the first Underworld movie.
Oh my god. I haven't seen that movie since it was in theaters, so... Oh my god.
So I was like, Lucian and the Doctor, huh? Okay.
He is so good in this. And I do want to talk about other people in it, but this is the perfect place to talk about easily my favorite part of... It might be my favorite part of Good Omens, like book or movie, is the 29-minute cold open in episode 3 that is just them playing throughout history.
Let's get through a little bit of the cast so we don't lose that thread, but I do want to come back to that.
We have to talk about that.
Yeah, we have to talk about
30 minutes
that.
of perfection.
But I just also really want to give everyone their dues when it comes to this show. We already mentioned Michael Sheen, David Tennant. Who else do we who do we want to go to make sure to talk about big roles? Because I don't think we necessarily have to list off everybody in this fucking production. But
very small one, so just real quick.
Yeah.
Getting Nick Offerman in for like 3 lines.
Oh, and he was so excited to do it.
And he was so funny in it.
He was so excited. He told because he, you know, they had to fly him to South Africa to do that tiny part.
Like,
and they were like, we could maybe, you know, find another way to do this, or like schedule this at a different time and not have to fly. And he was like, no, I'll do it. And they're like, well, no, we won't because he was like, I will do it out of my own pocket. And they were like, no, we'll fly you. And they're like,
for you.
and he's like, they were like, are you sure you only have this many lines. Like, are you sure it's worth it? And he was like, if you needed to fly me twice as far for half as many lines, I would do it. Because he is such a big fan of the book. And that warms my heart, knowing that Nick Offerman...
Well, and Nick Offerman is so charming and everything. Like, I would fucking hate Ron Swanson with a fiery passion if I ever met him. I would think he was the biggest piece of shit alive. But I love Nick Offerman so much that it just shines through, and he's great. And even in this... He's
being
kind of a piece of crap in it.
He's being such a dick, and it makes it just... It's so good.
let's see. John Hamm as Gabriel.
Oh, he's so hateful. He does such a good job of making me like, ooh, I don't like you.
I get why they wanted to have more of a representative of heaven to interact with.
Mm-hmm.
And John Hamm is pretty popular right now thanks to Mad Men. And he's great. He was very hateful. He did a good job. I kind of felt like his role was unnecessary. And it might have something to do with the fact that they got Derek fucking Jacobi to be the Metatron. And then they replaced part of the Metatron appearing with John Hamm. And John Hamm is great. I just really, really love Derek Jacobi. Jacobi? I'm not sure which.
I think it's Jacobi.
Derek Jacobi. And so when they had him doing him, I was like, but you had Jacobi. Come on.
I love him as Gabriel. I love his portrayal of Gabriel.
Super good.
I think he suddenly might have one of my favorite little just costuming choices with the extra lilac eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah.
I liked the scene where he's like, I want to buy one of your physical materials. Then later, like, pornography.
Right.
We humans are so embarrassed. Perfect cover. Like,
I think what my favorite part about when they do that, though, is that Aziraphale does not act like they're acting out of character for humans either. Like, you would expect that Aziraphale would be like, ooh, you guys are making a cringe-worthy, like, you know, like human aliases. No, he acts like, yeah, okay, like, I'm just...
Fair enough. Gaiman describes him as the boss that everyone hates to have, and that's accurate. That is...
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I see what you're saying about the Metatron thing. I actually agree, but in a slightly different way. The inclusion of John Hamm's Gabriel in this story changes Aziraphale's arc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because in the book, he doesn't know that heaven is for the war until he talks to the Metatron.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a big slap in the face, and he's like, oh shit, what the fuck? Like, in the show, Gabriel makes it very clear to him from the beginning.
Yeah.
And instead, he's like, well, there's just a mix-up. We've received the same orders, but he's interpreting it in the wrong way. So I just have to talk to the higher power and get this cleared up.
Yeah. He's thinking middle management who's fucking up. And really it still is. Like, you know...
Even the Metatron's middle management.
Right, exactly. But he has to go through a little more existential crisis of figuring out his place in the story while he tries to tell himself that no, like, no, my side really doesn't want what they're telling me as blatantly as possible that they want.
We could just keep with some of the angels. Dune Makachan I'm going to go with Makachan as Archangel Michael.
She was fine.
Yeah.
She was... The other angels...
I like her in the last episode quite a bit. Like, her surprise when she comes back and shit with the holy water. Like, oh.
Yeah, I think the other angels
Her directly interacting with heaven was pretty interesting. Not heaven, with hell was pretty interesting.
That was interesting, too.
That was very fun. I think Uriel, whoever played Uriel, beautiful performance. The gentleman who played Sandalphon... I think they're all like really great, and I love the ambiguity of the angels. The kind of, you know, I think that was really beautiful and well done.
It was Gloria Obiano as Uriel and Paul Chahidi as Sandalphon.
Yeah.
I don't want to like sound like I'm dissing on the other angels when I say I just don't have a whole lot to say about them.
I thought it was neat getting to see them mostly, but.
Yeah, and I enjoy, you know...
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I don't think they were necessary really for the story, but I did appreciate how they were done since they were there.
Yeah, they were very well done. They added a nice flavor. I don't have anything remarkable to say about them.
Frances McDormand is God.
Excellent.
She made so many people mad, too, by fucking having a woman god, and I was in...
Yeah, from the beginning,
like,
I was
shitheads mad. She made many shitheads mad.
With a woman god, like, nothing against Frances McDormand, but in my mind, just because of where my fan allegiances already lie, here? That's the thing. I kept thinking of her as the Metatron to Alanis Morissette's God.
God wrote Jagged Little Pill. You know, Jagged Little Pill is a way better album than it has any right to be. So
I didn't appreciate it for years, and I went on a big kick like half a year ago, and I was like, oh no,
it was like 3 or 4 years ago for me that I suddenly discovered it, and I tried to get real deep into land. I don't care for most of her stuff, but Jagged Little Pill is a truly excellent album. But that's not Good Omens either. I can't stop myself. She was good as God. The Black Adam and Eve pissed people off too, and it was another one where Neil Gaiman's like, clearly suck it.
Yeah, he's like, this is a perfect place, you know, having this right immediately in the first episode. Anyone who's going to be pissed off about a Black Adam and Eve is going to stop watching, and that's great. They know what they're getting into immediately.
Fucking, what was it? 1 million moms tried to do a boycott getting Netflix to cancel Good Omens, and Netflix is like, all right, we'll cancel Good Omens if you cancel Stranger Things.
Right.
That. Like just openly dragging 1 million moms, which I am also on board for.
It may be worth mentioning Netflix did not have anything to do with Good Omens.
Yep,
That's why that
Amazon
was funny.
does not have-
That's why that was funny.
Let's see. Who?
Yeah, no.
I was going to say maybe Adam? Next,
Adam,
unless you had someone else?
Adam was played by Sam Taylor Buck. Adam's a weird one for me because it's a casting that you can never get perfect with the way he's described in the book.
Yeah. It's very hard to find a real human child who looks like an adolescent Greek god. Like,
and kid actors are a crapshoot anyways. Like, I mean, even, the Harry Potter kids who were really good by the end were pretty wooden in the first. It took them about 2.5 movies to learn how to act. Like,
well, and with this character in particular, they had narrowed, I think they said they had 500 kids.
And they narrowed it down to 2.
They narrowed it down to 2, and they picked him because he could do the scary parts. Like, both of them could do the, I'm a, friendly, kid, having fun in the English countryside perfectly. But they said that his scary Antichrist Adam was legitimately scary. I think it's also fair to note his voice broke during filming.
Oh, shit.
And so there's a few scenes where they actually had to dub his voice because... So they used his, new broken, scary voice for the scary Adam scene still. And there's a few scenes before his voice breaks that they got. But they had to dub...
It's like ADL or ADR or something
ADR.
like that, where they fix up a lot of recordings and stuff. His voice broke between filming and ADR. So they were like, okay, this will be interesting.
Yeah. And
that sounds like a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, so those are all little things that happen when you have a kid acting and you have to pick the right...
You have a few scenes where he's kind of wooden, but for the most part, that kid delivers.
I think he does I think he does an absolutely fine job. And honestly, he's who I picture when I now read the book, even though I'm just like, this is I'm only picturing him kind of because I can't picture
anyone else anymore, but
I can't picture what they're describing.
He pulls off rambunctiously charming extremely well.
Yeah.
Like when he's talking about his book, and she's like, I'm sure I'd like it. And it's the line from the book where she's like, I'm sure I would like your book, endearing herself to Adam forever. Moments like that, he did a very good job, I thought.
Yeah.
On the note of Adam, we also had Amaris as Pepper.
She is great.
Pepper was fantastic.
She's one of my favorite adaptations of a character from the book because they change her a little bit in ways that are fantastic. Like the changes they chose to make to Pepper, perfect.
Elin Golkoff as Brian.
I wanted a bigger Brian. I always imagined him as larger, but the kid did a good job, and they got the dirty part so
He was
good.
so good at getting just ice cream all fucking
the way he
over
just
himself.
shoves it in his mouth, and you're like, "Oh, kid, no."
Yeah. He does a great job.
I'm kind of gross, and no.
Yes.
And this one is my favorite casting of the entire series. Alfie Taylor as Wensleydale. I don't
so
think
cute.
He was so charming.
He's so cute.
I have never seen a kid who looks more like he's about to directly the next day grow up into looking like Stephen Merchant.
Yeah. He's they mentioned that he's about 3 steps away from accountancy at any given time. Bam. There's that kid right now.
And he's just too honest. Even playing imaginary games with the other kids, they're like, Wensley, you just have to claim you're not a witch. And he's like, but
I am a witch.
Replacing
if they had to have one of the kids do that instead of Pepper's little sister, Wensley's the only character that could have worked with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I missed the scene of having Pepper's little sister dunked in the pond and what they, had, it was
just pushing on the tire was not nearly as
Yeah,
interesting.
it was a little bit of a
like,
letdown, but it was still a great way to build the chemistry between those kids.
That's one of those scenes, too, where if you watch a lot of adaptations, you're like, okay, I get it. Like, you're not bringing in a whole separate character that's also a little kid that's going to be hard to work with.
And you're not going to dunk that kid repeatedly in the water.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you're not going to find a scummy pond and, like, dunk, you know, even if they had taken Wensley and dunked him in the pond, like... What a miserable day of being on set for that kid also, like...
It'd be fun the first time.
Right, like, kind of like in the book, like, yeah, it's fun for, like, 5 or 10 minutes, but eventually you have to go home. Well, filming might take, like...
A day.
All fucking day, and being, like, 11 and having to be dunked in a pond for, like, 8 hours straight would be so terrible. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it makes sense that they didn't do it, but that's one of those little things I miss.
I'm going to just put these two together, even though one of them does get more screen time than the other. Ned Dennehy and Ariane Bakare as Haster and Leaguer.
That one's...
super charming. Not charming, but, like...
It worked.
Okay, yeah. Actually, I'm going to stick with the word charming. Not what I would have thought. Like, terrible would hate them charming. He said I smell like poo. Well,
that was so good.
You gotta give him that one. Like...
That was so good.
Well, and Haster's so fucking, like, awkward. Like, he does a terrible job of pretending he's human. And then there's that scene in the desert where, like, he says he has no sense of humor and just, like, roasts another demon. And then, like, 2 minutes later starts laughing at the joke. Just, like, he did the awkwardness of a demon who has no idea how to pretend to be human.
His weird, horrific screams.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, when Leaguer gets, you know, melted by holy water, and he's like doing this, like almost hyperventilating scream, and you can't take him seriously, but it's so funny. I thought, yeah, definitely enjoyed Haster. You don't get as much Leaguer, but.
He's good.
Yeah, he lurks, which is what he's
born to lurk.
Supposed to do. He was born to lurk, and he does a good job.
Let's see here. Let's go with Adria Arjona as Anathema Device.
Do we want to talk about Newt at the same time, since they're...
Well, we'll go into Newt next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just check.
She's interesting because she says she's one of the few actors in this, I think, who was not a giant nerd of Good Omens.
No experience with the book before this.
Right. She didn't come into this being like, oh my god, I'm going to be a part of Good Omens, you know.
She talked about being a little scared of Neil because of that, though. Being like, I'm adapting your book. Like,
yeah. So I imagine, like, that must have been... in some ways a lot harder to like find that character's voice, you know, like the actress who plays Mary Loquacious was a giant Good Omens fan, and they said when casting her she helped set the tone for what they were looking for in their other actors. And so having someone who's on the other end of the spectrum who is coming into this not knowing, I think she did a really good job on that, though. Like, you know, for having not been a giant nerd of the book, coming in and creating a very independent kind of character who's also like very independent of other humans, but is also super hyper obsessed and dependent on this book and her place in the universe as she's seen it. At times, like, there's times where I think she nails it, and then there's other times where I wish she even played up the kind of messy witch a little more.
She never landed the crazier parts of Anathema as well as she landed, like, the serious together parts. Because Anathema's this really weird balance between this insanely capable woman and a complete fucking new aquarium nutter.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like she landed the nutter part as well as she landed the, like, let's get down to business and defeat the Huns part.
She definitely played a lot more into the professional descendant side. Ooh, this is a weird one for me. One of my coworkers, we used to discuss this when every episode was, as we were going through it when it first dropped and stuff, and she's also a giant fan of Good Omens. And after seeing Anathema for the first time, me and her both came to the same conclusion. Weirdly too traditionally pretty.
Yeah.
Almost to the point of taking us out of it at times. Like
Very pretty, though. You're right.
Yeah, she's beautiful. And I think they maybe tried a little bit to lessen that by like her clothing and her hair, you know,
Weird
some
dress.
of the,
She's
I think they're like, you know,
slightly old-timey.
Yeah, their costuming department maybe tried to, but you can't, you know, change that she's a very beautiful person in a different way from the vivacious description of. On the other hand, I feel like they nailed that with Agnes. You know,
Agnes, yeah, I agree.
She is a handsome woman rather than a traditionally pretty woman.
Agnes Nutter, they originally were like, what if we didn't cast an Agnes Nutter and just did this entire bit through wood carvings? Which would have worked. I would have accepted it. But that was the one where Neil heard Terry's voice being like, don't you fucking dare.
And then there's one other bit to the casting of her that it runs on the edge. I don't think it actually is, but it runs on the edge of problematic because of the way that certain words get coded, especially in pop culture. The only physical description of Anathema in the book is only a paragraph long. And it's basically saying her individual parts are extremely pretty. It comes together in a kind of weird way where if you know the definition and you have the vocabulary, you would describe it as vivacious. Vivacious when it comes to like casting calls and then changing the character to Latin X is
Sometimes
iffy.
I see that. I was glad to see how many characters were changed from what I imagined was white, which is just probably my own privilege more than anything else. To people of color, Pepper, as we mentioned before, her Anathema. I blanked the name there, even though literally what we're talking about. But I absolutely see what you're saying with that.
I don't think it quite gets there, but it's just a trend of things that happen. I think one of the best things that I've ever seen that actually points out how even sometimes good descriptions can get coded is there was actually a really funny exchange in the sitcom The League, where they're actually talking about sports players and like baseball players and stuff, and one of the characters shows up and he's like, he's talking about his professional life, and he's like, I met this doctor, Dr. Maxwell. He's a real class act. And the guys are immediately like, oh, so he's black? And they're like, well, he is, but how did you know that? And he's like, well, because like sportscasters and people in pop culture that do this sort of thing code these things all the time. If they're talking about a head coach or a player who's known for being good, he's always a class act. And they go into like in baseball, if they're talking about a Latino player, he's always either a firecracker or a spark plug.
Oh, God.
Oh.
You're right. That's all very accurate.
And then if you describe somebody as like a gym rat or he's real scrappy, 90% of the time it's a white guy. And then Ichiro Suzuki is inscrutable.
Oof. Oh, that one hurt my soul.
Like I said, it's not
there,
it's
but
not
it's
a bad thing necessarily, but it's one of those things that borders on the edge of like, ooh.
We can have more roles than that.
If the only description of the character is vivacious and then you're going to go to Latinx, I'm kind of curious what your other choices were.
I am curious what that casting looked like
exactly.
Who else, you know, did they pick her and then go, okay, let's have your mother, whoever we cast as your mom, also be, so that it makes sense, or did they put out a casting call for, I don't know the answer to that.
Exactly. And I don't either. With everybody involved in this production and me knowing what they're about, I assume that this was all done with the best of intentions, but
as we talked about last week, it doesn't always land even if it means well. Or it doesn't mean there's not questions. I think Anathema might have been the weakest to me of the actors, But I want to say that while saying that, like, someone has to be the worst. That doesn't mean you did bad by any stretch of the imagination.
Exactly.
She did a very good job. She's just the one that landed the least for me.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, there's certain parts in this that I have a hard time imagining anyone else in them. I can replace her face fairly easily.
I mean, half the time when I try to think of her face in my mind anyway, I kind of think of AOC because they look very similar.
Didn't think of that before. Gonna think of that from now on.
And having that kind of similar determination about life. She
could do an AOC biopic pretty easily.
I would be completely into that. That sounds amazing. To compliment her, we had Jack Whitehall as Newton Pulsifer.
Before I fully dive in on Newton Pulsifer, I have to say I believed the romance between Newt and Anathema in the show much more than I did in the book.
Really? I had the opposite.
I thought
it was way too quick in the show. At least with the book, it simmered with me for a bit.
I guess I can see that. I thought their chemistry was really good, and like she looked like she was actually interested in him a little bit, as opposed to in the book where she's like, I guess he's not that bad.
Yeah, subtle.
Yeah.
And I think part of it is I am not interested in average white dude gets person way out of his league anymore, just because we've seen it so often. And I thought they had a bit more actual chemistry in this. Could just be my reading of it.
I will agree that it seemed like they had good chemistry in it. It just seemed to go fast to me.
And I think, that is very true. But I think part of it is, like, where they have sex, one, they kind of have a small producer's reference, which I love. But she actually looks like she's enjoying herself in it. While in the book, she's like, okay.
This happened.
I guess we're having sex now. And the woman being like, okay, let's have sex, I guess, is a very boring trope to me. So
yeah. But she actually, she looks like she's having a lot of fun. It
in
looks
this
like
weird sex situation.
And it's awkward. They make it very clear. It's very awkward that they decide they're doing this under the bed and
never even kissed someone before.
They're both struggling to get their glasses. There's it's not just her settling. She's just as friend. And he goes, "Shouldn't we have dinner first?" And
no time.
No time.
No time. She's into it. Yeah.
And somehow it is a very, one of the more realistic sex scenes I've ever seen in that way, while still having the, person popping out from under the bed being like,
the over-the-top
comedic. The producer's references.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's over the top while still being, in a lot of ways, like I said, believable, because it's showing that it's awkward. It would be awkward to have sex under a bed during a hurricane.
It's showing the awkward emotional truth, even if it's not physically playing out.
Yeah.
Believably.
Right. And the play between the characters who we might even be talking about next on this screen, them jumping between that scene and what Shadwell and Madame Tracy.
I mean, now we're going to jump to them.
Okay,
but
we have to talk about
Jack
Newt
Whitehall first. Yeah.
Newt gets more than just, hey, they had a funny sex scene together.
Yeah.
He deserves better.
He's great because he does awkward very well, and you feel so bad for him. God, that poor guy gets the short end of the stick. Yeah,
what I like about him, and he does a very good job of it here, he doesn't just sad guy gets girlfriend as a reward. You understand that, he actually is a good dude, even if, some... he gets shat on a lot.
Yeah, he keeps trying hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He doesn't just get this girl as a reward. They actually seem like they have ways where they complement each other. And he is charming sad sack, which is sometimes kind of hard to play off in a real way.
Yeah. Well, and he's at no point, going into this, he's... got the short end of the stick because of his weird...
He's a fucking gremlin?
He can't fucking, handle technology in a world that is extremely reliant on technology, rather than, he's, got some kind of awkward physical whatever.
His techno-fuck to land so much harder in 2018 or
Right.
wherever this came out than what it would have in
Yes.
1990.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he does the part really well. He does the parts where he's dealing with Shadwell very well, of like dealing with Shadwell's crazy and being very like calm about Shadwell's kind of crazy. Yeah, and then obviously having to deal with Anathema's different kind of crazy, and then his panic attack. He's used to things going wrong, and to the point where he's like calm about it, which is something I very much understand from having gone through periods of my life where if something could go wrong, it did, and getting to the point of like people being like, "Aren't you like stressed out and like freaking out about this?" Like, no,
That's just all the time.
You should have seen last week, man. And he does a very good job of doing that. But then when he is panicking in the car, like, well, I'm very calmly like worrying about
people shooting me.
getting shot. Yeah, I think. Yeah, at no point did I feel like he was not Newton.
Tied to Newt,
Yeah.
the live appearance of Dick Turpin.
Yes.
I
So good.
loved Dick Turpin.
Yes. As someone who drove a tiny Geo for I had two different Geos, and when the first one got totaled, I ripped the transmission out of it and put it in the new one because I hated the transmission in the new one. So in a way, I've driven 3
Dick Turpins.
because there was the third one that was a combination of the two. And that is, yeah, like Dick Turpin, the tiny car. I love that it only has 3 wheels. I saw those when I went to Italy in high school.
Cars.
Like, and it definitely is the kind of car that if it flipped over on its hood, you could just flip that little fucker right back up on its 3 wheels and keep going.
Last thing on Tied to Newt, before we're jumping to Shadwell. He also played Thou Shalt Not Commit Adultery Pulsified.
That's right.
And I did not know that until yesterday when Neil Gaiman mentions it in the comments. And he does a really good job of
The
not
serious
being
Puritan.
Newt.
Yeah. Being the serious Puritan who's going to burn a witch. Yeah.
That was, yeah. He did a great job in the dual roles.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately did not know it was him. And then they said it, and I was like, oh, of course.
Yeah.
Next time I see it, I'll be like, how did I not see that? But
Fucking legend, Michael McKean as Shadwell.
So I had made this a very this
I
observation.
fucking love Shadwell.
He's so good.
He's even Gaiman's like, he's not a good character. He's not a good person.
No.
I did make a very funny observation when was it episode 3? We see R.P. Tyler when he approaches Anathema.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the sudden realization that actor could have also done an amazing Shadwell.
He would have been an amazing Shadwell.
He would have been a very convincing Shadwell as well.
However, I think I almost shit myself when I saw that Shadwell was Michael McKean.
It's so good. and I love, he does a great job of the like, what is your accent supposed to be?
Americans can't do a Scottish accent, but it's okay because it's fucking Shadwell.
Because you're supposed to have a really shitty accent that no one can place.
Apparently the line when he's going through and he wants to show Crowley the, like, people, and he starts listing off, like, I'll send my best people, and he lists a few fake names. And the last one he says is Sergeant Pepper. That was apparently completely ad-libbed.
Yes.
Nice.
And I just... it's so good.
I mean, he's an amazing ad-libber considering his fucking filmography. Being in the Christopher Guest movies...
He ad-libs a lot.
like 90% of the roles. or the lines. Like, it's insane.
Ironically, my first thought was, we're going to talk about Shadwell. We're going to say what a perfect choice of actor he was. And then the main thing I had to talk about is someone else playing the role. But young Shadwell,
Oh.
I thought was really funny to see. And the idea that young Shadwell was like this super hot dude wearing like crazy 60s shirt and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
looked so 60s.
Yes.
It made me cackle meeting young Shadwell.
Yeah. Someone, I think what we said is having someone who is hot but just as fucking nutter butters as old Shadwell.
Will there be, like, raising his hand, they're like, what's up? And he's like, will there be any witches? And whoever played the muscle in that, but didn't do it, but just the one, like, weird eye eyebrow. Again, audio medium doesn't help that if I do this look. But, like, the one raised eyebrow is just a pitch-perfect moment from background character number 7.
He's probably not who I would have first chose, but I can't think of anybody else now. Love Michael McKean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good at it. And he's a much quieter one than I imagine. I imagine, Whore of Babylon being yelled much louder. But it was still very well done. And the woman who plays Madame Tracy.
She's perfect.
Miranda Richardson.
And how horny she is for Shadwell in every single moment.
Every time he's insulting her and she just does, just physically
Bosom
is
goes out, the breath goes in.
You realize who that is, right?
That's
Queenie from Blackadder.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know if have you seen Blackadder? Okay, I know I have it on our computer. I know what we're getting up to soon. But
that's Queenie.
I adore her. Yeah, her adaptation of Madame Tracy is so perfect. It's so great. I love the wig changes they do for her. I love her whole thing, and she reminds me so much of the drag clown I went to college with, Carla Rossi, in just being that kind of hot mess. Every time she's on screen, it makes me so happy. She makes me so joyous anytime she's on the screen.
I ended up with a little bit of a crush on Miranda Richardson by the end of this.
Yeah, that's fair. Her thing of like, you're not here for adult-oriented massage, are you? Or no,
or
discipline, or whatever it fucking was. Is just like,
my knees ain't what they used to. Like, she's like trying to be a seductress, but also is like, my knees.
By the way,
my knees are not what they like. Very business about being a prostitute.
I'm a 60-year-old prostitute, man. Like, you got to take me as I am. Like. If we're going to talk about the Four Horsemen, let's just talk about the Four Horsemen as a lump, I think. Because they're all great, but just like...
Marie Enos as War.
I think what struck me about her is how different she looks from when you first meet her to how she looks by the end.
When she's gone full war.
That transformation is very...
Her transformation is more extreme than any of the others I felt. And hers starts earlier.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The hungry smile that she gives anytime violence is about to happen was a wonderfully subtle piece of acting that is also like, she is just hot for whatever is happening right there.
Mm-hmm.
As we pointed out earlier, by process of elimination, somebody has to be the worst. For me, it might have been either her or Famine.
It was... No, I actually really liked Famine. I thought, for me, it was Pollution.
Oh.
I really like Pollution.
I really like all of them. I
think Pollution might be my favorite of the Four Horsemen.
I'd agree with that.
I like going with a non-binary actor for, or a non-binary portrayal for that role. And I love the... Making white look dirty was done very well in that, which is important for Pollution. Yeah, I really enjoyed Pollution's performance.
Pollution was Lords Faberis, and Famine is Yusuf Gatewood.
Famine, I think, is actually my favorite of them. There's just something about him that he's so...
I like his smile for it.
And he's compelling in a kind of horrifying way to me.
I like him more as he goes on. I feel like his initial appearance, he wasn't quite cold corporate enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He plays more of a salesman than a corporate, I think. I can see I absolutely see what you're saying on it. The Elvis joke, I don't know if it should have been there without the earlier references to Elvis to, like, tie it together. It feels so out of the blue for me in the show.
I love that, apparently that shot where Elvis not where you like get a really clear shot of him, but where he's just in the background very briefly. When they first shot that, it was like perfect, except he wasn't there because he had gone to the bathroom.
And no one noticed.
And they had to no one realized he wasn't there for the shot. And they were like, perfect, we got it. And someone was like, well, you're going to have to redo it. And they're like, why? And they're like, because Elvis left the building.
Oh my God. Yes.
And then that brings us to, I suppose, Death.
Brian Cox's death.
Brian Cox is a great choice of actor for Death. I think he's played Death in a Terry Pratchett thing before, too.
I think you're right. Let me check that. And you can talk.
We didn't get a ton here.
Yeah.
He does a good job. I don't have anything remarkable to say about him. He's a good voice for a Terry Pratchett Death character. I was not as sold overall on the Four Horsemen as I was with most other storylines in this.
They had to change, because in the book we get them when a brief glimpse of them when Adam first comes to Earth, when he's a baby. And then we get 11 years down the road what they've been up to when they get called. But it didn't work well for the storytelling aspect in this adaptation, as far as the flow and like knowing as an audience person where you were in the story. But I think in the book that really helps set the tone for the Four Horsemen a lot better, whereas they're kind of rushed in this.
I think taking out the other Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse takes out some of the flavor of the scenes too. And it might be different if you haven't read the book, but as someone who identified so heavily with the other Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, I mostly was just feeling their absence in those scenes.
I think I wouldn't have felt their absence so much if there wasn't one little weird holdover from them in the series. And I thought this was the weirdest thing to keep. When we have the introduction to young Anathema and her mom is quizzing her on the prophecies.
Yes. I noticed that too, and it bugs me.
It's the 4 and 4 prophecy.
Right, it's
You
still
know
the 4
why?
and 4.
They were
Because they were
supposed to be in
in
there,
it.
and they ran out of money, and they were like, crap, we have to cut something.
But they cut it before they even started shooting, which means they could have still changed that scene.
Fair enough. Just an oversight. And again, as we were talking about with who we thought was the worst actor in this movie, some scene is always going to be the worst. That doesn't mean it's not well done. I don't really have any legitimate complaints about this show. There are weaknesses, but like...
The only thought I could have on arguing why they maybe didn't change that is they may have changed what the interpretation was, which was the 4 horsemen and the 4 children instead. But if you've read the book and you know that they're talking about,
Pig bog.
Right, exactly.
And at that point, they've included a lot of details that you only know if you've read the book anyway.
Right.
Because they don't... That was the weird thing. Upon rewatching for this and sort of like paying close attention to some details, there's a lot of stuff that they include from the book that they just don't set up. Like when Aziraphale and Crowley go to Tadfield and they fucking... in the book, Aziraphale fires the fucking... explodes the fucking pamphlet because when they were getting the fucking parking ticket as they're running away. That happens, but they don't explain it, and so you assume it's Crowley.
Yeah, and they don't have the moment of like, which one? Yeah, that's true.
Or like you brought up the Elvis thing.
Right.
Without that previous reference.
Yeah, it's there as an Easter egg for anyone who's read the book more than it is for telling the story now.
And you get the soundtrack that's half Queen, but you never get any tape that stays in the vehicle for 2 weeks, turns into a Queen tape.
Right.
I was sure they weren't going to do Queen, and it sounds like Neil Gaiman was also sure they were not going to be allowed to do Queen. And I think that was a relatively late entrance for them, which might be why it didn't make it into the script, that line. Because as he said, he didn't think they were getting Queen until suddenly last minute they're talking to Brian May, and he's like, yeah, sure, man.
They do some amazing things with that Queen soundtrack.
Yeah.
One of the things I think we'll bring up in is there any other characters you want to touch on? Because
Adam's dad is very well done. Done. Bam. Okay.
Right. Yeah, whoever did that.
Super charming, way less misogynistic.
Because, like, the Queen is used in one of the best ways, I think, in the Aziraphale-Crowley relationship.
They are directly in love in this one. Even Gaiman says he's writing a romance novel, while in the book it's much more open to interpretation, and I don't mind either one because, sure, guy-guy romance, great, but also legitimate guy-guy close friendship that they don't make weird is so rare in fiction, too, that I'm actually... In the book, I'm happy with either depiction, but I love this as a romance between the two of them.
I think the first 30 minutes of episode 3 is the single best thing that they did in this entire series.
Oh my god, yes. And the first time we watched it, we were just so enthralled with watching it that then when the credits ran after 29 minutes of cold open...
We were like, wait, what the fuck?
What? Did we start a new episode? I didn't realize, or have we only been sitting here for 2 minutes and just absorbed so...
In the commentary...
And you had to go... I mean, we literally, I think, had to go look and see how far we were into the episode to, like, comprehend. And then I laughed so hard when I realized what the fuck they had done.
In the commentary, they mentioned that people came up to them when they first showed it. They're like, I was really brave to do that, like, 10-minute cold open. I'm like, my dude... That is 29 minutes long. Like, what? No. Like,
that was the other thing. I thought that was ballsy as fuck. When
God,
you run the title at a time like that, you're saying now the story starts.
Right.
But you have 30 minutes beforehand. If you're doing that, you're intentionally doing it to say this might be where the story starts, but all of this is critical to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would watch a series that just each episode was those two in a different point in history. I don't even care if there's an overall plot. Doesn't matter. Those two are so charming together, and every moment they have it, how careful they are with the Jesus scene to not be disrespectful either way. They don't say he's the son of God. They don't say he's not the son of God. They talk about how their entire goal was just, whether he's son of God or not, this is a tragedy. And let's look at it from that respect. Mm-hmm. And then going to fucking crazy anachronistic King Arthur, like...
God, that fucking opening's beautiful.
Oh, it's
They
so
were
good.
the ineffable husbands.
It's so good. Well, and I also, I appreciate that from watching that there's scenes in between all of those scenes of them running into each other. I also really like, by the time you're getting toward the end of that, they've been around each other for 6,000 years. And Aziraphale makes the remark to Crowley, to Crowley,
too fast for
me.
me.
You move too fast for me. And just...
What a perfect, way to solidify Crowley's, or Aziraphale's character right there.
And how that just stumps Crowley. He's like...
Bro.
He just got, kind of turned down, but at the same time is like, does he know? It's been 6,000 years. I thought we were playing the long game.
They describe the scene in the church where the bomb is dropped, Crowley saves Aziraphale, as the moment that Aziraphale... And his books. The moment that Aziraphale fell in love with Crowley. And you see it. And just that moment of, it is a pure kindness from Crowley to have saved those books.
Yeah.
Just because he knows how much, almost more than coming to save him.
Yeah.
Right. Because if he had been shot by Nazis, he would have been discorporated, but they could have issued him a new body. He wouldn't really have been killed.
Yeah.
And you could just even make the argument that it's almost Crowley protecting himself, because he has the arrangement by that point. If it gets found out, he's in trouble, even if it's heaven finding it out. But
he saves what is more precious in this world, literally, to Aziraphale than anything that is books, especially these rare books that he wasn't expecting to actually lose to the Nazis, because he thought he was...
Also just Aziraphale being so certain that he's
so
in these dark black ops and shit, and it's fucking that he's awful at it.
He thinks he's double crossing, but they're double crossing him. Oh god.
Well, and I love it as him being the proprietor of a bookshop. It almost felt like, oh, he thinks he's getting to be in one of these stories for once.
Yeah.
And it was so cute, and then it gets turned around on him, and then it ends up being cute anyway because of Crowley
just
saving him.
Completely different way.
Yeah.
I also love... Part of what I loved in Tennant's performance and through their little relationship is, although it's obvious that Crowley does also love Aziraphale in some way, especially in that moment, he doesn't consciously realize it until he loses him. Mm-hmm. And that's part of what I loved in the using the Queen in the soundtrack, because they reflect it very, very blatantly. When he's going into the burning bookshop, they're playing Queen's You're My Best Friend. Mm-hmm. When he comes out thinking that his friend has just been killed in some way, it's playing Find Somebody to Love.
Oof, so good. The scene in the gazebo where they're like run away together, that was another one where you're like, that is a love story. Like you are not hiding it anymore. I don't even like you. Yes, you do. Like, it's such a little bitch fight that is so well done.
Well, as Neil Gaiman put it, you know, he was definitely writing a love story at that point, and he said you can't have a love story without a breakup because they have to break up to get back together. And that was very cute, and I super appreciated that. But one thing that I didn't think about until watching through this time is that you would expect Aziraphale as the like naive, kind of cute and innocent one to be the needier one in the relationship.
Crowley as fuck.
Crowley is so much needier than like Aziraphale can kind of like, he clearly loves Crowley, but when it comes to certain things, he can kind of take it or leave it. And Crowley's like goes nuts when he's not getting the attention he needs from Aziraphale. Aziraphale's distracted by a book or so, you know, and he's just like
pay attention to me now, please.
So, getting to hear Tennant once again quote Shakespeare to Shakespeare.
Yeah. Tennant's got a theme. His beard looks so weird in that one.
Oh my god.
I wanted him to play the Monarch so bad at that point. Also, I want him to play the Monarch now. Just throwing that out there.
I love all of the little Doctor Who things they like slipped in there, because I think his license plate is TARDIS backwards, right?
Yes.
On the Bentley.
Sidrat?
It's Sidrat. And then the actor who plays Adam's dad said his favorite part of the whole thing was getting to call David Tennant Doctor as he runs in the building. You know, I love that they did all those little references to Doctor Who.
Beyond that, when R.P. Tyler goes up to Anathema and is like, "Are you a person of... I thought you were a person of interest." She was on the show Person of Interest.
Oh, okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Just thinking of the Aziraphale-Crowley relationship, it is very well done, but it's a thing that I think I preferred how they did it in the book, which is different for a specific bit, which is at the very end, where they swap, and like he hides. Aziraphale takes a bath in the holy water while dressed as Crowley, and the other way around, stepping in the hellfire. That scene was so well done. The actors impersonated each other, like in the moment right before they swap, and they're, you know, David Tennant is sitting how Aziraphale would sit, and
they're on the you know, they filmed everything with Aziraphale is always on the same side other than when they're in the Bentley. So they're always, whenever they're sitting together, always on the same side every time, except in that scene because, well, I mean, they are still in that scene. But if you're paying attention, you realize, well, they switch, and then they're like, oh, because they switched.
I get it if people disagree. As much as I love how well that scene is done, and it is so well acted, it's so funny, I kind of prefer how it was done in the book, where it's not they scared them off from certain shit, but heaven and hell just being like, let's just pretend this never happened.
Right. That is such a corporate...
I liked it a little better.
It's a very corporate way of dealing with things. Like, when shit goes wrong at work and it's upper management's, like, fault, kind of.
We'll just never talk about this again.
Let's just not talk about this ever again. Yeah, let's just pretend it didn't happen.
I did like how it reinforced the duality theme with the fire and the water.
Yeah.
If you're going to make the choice to do that, they did that scene about as well as it could be done. And I get why people do it. And
I think it also did a good job of showing that while heaven and hell are claiming to be on opposite sides, they are staging this whole thing together. Like, the war is not really a war. A war isn't something you plan with your arch enemies. And every part of this war is coordinated between the two sides. It's more like a football match.
The back alley planning and, like, calling each other while getting mad at Aziraphale and Crowley for doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah, and it really shows in that last scene, too, where they've, like, coordinated to punish these two with each other. And the other thing I appreciate about that scene is it feels very Terry Pratchett. Mm-hmm. Like, Terry didn't write that scene, but he could have easily. It has very much a feeling of how he would resolve a story.
I think the other thing I like about it is because it highlights, or it plays more into the big difference between the show and the book. Mm-hmm. I think the book, even though we get a lot of Aziraphale and Crowley, I think holistically is supposed to make us feel more like Adam and realize the potential for good and evil within ourselves and the potential for creation and destruction and all that good stuff. The show is a lot more about both their relationship and their journey in realizing that themselves, and we're more just watching that journey.
I think when you have Michael Sheen and David Tennant, it's hard not to be like, okay, let's make them our leads a little stronger.
Right. Yeah.
And I think you couldn't have done that scene as well in a book because it was the subtlety of the acting that makes... And it's such a small moment, but as I said, the moment where Aziraphale is, like, lounging like Crowley would, and you're like, whoa, I think I already know what was going on, but that is definitely wrong.
Well, and even, like... when Aziraphale is in the bath and he's so Crowley, like so Crowley. But then when Crowley is in the fire and he does the like breathe fire like bullshit thing, it's so not Aziraphale.
That's true. Surprisingly, Aziraphale's the better actor of the two. I would not have expected that.
Getting to see the Gavat charmed me to no end.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't know what the Gavat was before that.
He's so into it.
I am good at this.
Look at me I think the fact that it's like a gentleman's club and like you see this and you're just like Aziraphale feels like he's found his home. And it's just a blip in time on the scale of the 6,000 years that he's on that like, it just doesn't last.
Aziraphale was born to be an upper-class Victorian.
Okay, so the devil actually showing up. Also voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. So
wouldn't have ever known, don't really care. I mean, great. I don't have any problem with Benedict Cumberbatch, but I wouldn't have known, don't really care.
I don't think it was necessary, but I think the goal was to better show that Adam was changing the universe in that moment from being the son of Satan to I'm not the son of Satan. Like, I am, like, this is my dad because he's actually there for me. Mm-hmm. And having him say that to the devil's face and being like, you gave me the power to literally change the universe to however I want it. I can bend reality, so I'm gonna bend it so that like the dad who doesn't show up for me for the first 11 years doesn't get to be my dad anymore. You couldn't have had that without the devil actually showing up. And I think I think Neil felt it was important to have that bit of like it is important for dads to be there for their kids. And if you show up after not being there and try to...
You don't get to claim shit.
Yeah.
I also think it makes sense when you're watching the story. Because
built for a more visual climatic ending, while the book I felt bigger and more climactic to me.
That, and I feel like the average like TV audience if you go through this story and have it play out more like the book, where he kind of just gets rid of it in the background and like a throwaway paragraph real quick, and it like the devil never actually shows up on screen, like you already have God as the narrator the entire time, and they just ended the apocalypse. I think you would have just had a lot of people sitting there wondering, like, what about the fucking devil? We saw all the demons ready to go to war.
Where was
this
Satan?
just got stopped. Where the fuck is Satan?
Yeah.
So here's Satan, and here he's going to get told off.
I get why it happened. I don't.
Yeah,
like
I thought it was pretty weak, but I get it.
Some things just don't adapt well, and I think it would have been really hard to do the like swap from bit to bit to bit, seeing what Adam has done for his friends and compatriots.
That being said, with that last scene, though, I get why that's done, even if I didn't like it that much. The thing I don't understand why they didn't include, because it would have only added like 30 more seconds, is having them show up with their own versions of like the sword, the scales,
instead of all of them picking up the sword.
Yeah, I didn't care for that as much.
Yeah.
Probably just less props, because they already had so many fucking things that, you cut what you can. But I agree with you.
Yeah. I kind of missed that too. That was part of the charm of kids showing up to fight this battle, and they've brought basically sticks and twine and like the kind of thing I would have.
That if you imagine really hard, you can see what they were trying to do.
I mean, like, you probably could have had those kids try to build those things on set while they're just on their downtime, and like,
I would have loved that, right?
Yeah, having the 11-year-olds, while they're hanging out in the woods. Yeah, that would have been fun. Yeah, I feel like that was a more powerful metaphor in the book by having them do that. But Pepper's performance at that part where what is the line? I wrote it down. It's just so fucking funny to me. I do not endorse everyday sexism, and I believe in peace, bitch. It was so... I want to be that little girl. Like, just, she is so great. And I love that, the Pepper that we got in the book was a tomboy, which I related to super hard as a kid. The Pepper we get now in the miniseries is less a tomboy and more a feminist. Like, it's
actual feminist.
Right, an actual feminist, not a, like, I don't like girl stuff because it's girly. She is, I don't like girl stuff because that's sexist to call it girl stuff. I want stuff that I like because I like it, and not because I'm told I have to because I'm a girl.
No matter which way you take it, though, I will never stop laughing at the line, it's sexist to give a girl a girl's bike just because she's a girl or something like that.
Right,
like,
but that's like super...
It's also... I get where you're coming from, kid.
Yeah, it's super relatable for me as someone who grew up as a self-described tomboy, like, and now looking back, I was also very sexist towards females in my like determination that I didn't want to be one, really.
Classic 90s tomboy move.
Exactly. And now I'm feminist, like Pepper,
girl.
Pepper grew with me, and I like,
while still being 11, it's perfect.
She's still 11, but like, Pepper changed with the times appropriately.
Different from that, but just the other another small moment that they changed at the end that I just still loved. In the book, Shadwell never specifically asks her how many nipples she has. He says, I'm going to ask the question.
I'm going to pop the question.
And then he did, and then she laughs and says the normal amount or something.
She says,
or what do you think, silly? 2.
Yeah.
They actually have him ask him in this, and I'm not saying one is better than the other, but Madam Tracy's delivery of 2 with the like, son, you're going to find out in just a few minutes.
Wait till you're done with that beer.
Was such a picture-perfect delivery right there.
Well, and his smug little, like,
son, I'm going to find out in a few minutes.
Right. I guess that's all right then. And he's got his beer. I think part of what made that so perfect, though, is because when he says, I guess it's time I pop the question, you can tell, she starts doing the little, like, he's about to propose, like, marriage to me. Like, the classic, like, romance, woman preparing for the man to propose to her, and instead he asks her that, and like she handles it, as we say, just so smoothly, just so like.
I mean, I'm sure she's been asked weirder things in her career.
Right. When you've had her career.
Just get this out there. Adam Tracy deserves so much better than the piece of shit that is Shadwell, but they're so perfect together at the same time.
Oh my gosh. And I love that, in the book they say Shadwell and then like the very last scene retired. And in this, she says, like, because he calls her Whore of Babylon again, and she goes, retired. Like, I too am, or like, I am now retired, so should you.
Well, that was a good way to still just work in the little retired bit, because the Sergeant Shadwell retired doesn't work as well.
Yeah, they would have had to like pop up a little thing, which other shows had, but they hadn't done it anywhere else, so it wouldn't have worked.
I mean, you could have made it work with this, with all the little weird stylistic things they do with God's narration anyway, but
Or
it
like
would have
with
seemed a
war and
little
famine.
out of place.
Yeah. Like they do little sign things with war and famine, and so they could have like put something in there, but just working it into the dialogue is a much
more
better
clever
way of doing it. Yeah.
I'm sure we're at like 3 hours at this point, so...
Not quite, but we might be by the time we're done recording.
Okay. So, is there anything else... I'm sorry, both episodes in a row, I've been the one being like, we've been going for an hour and a half, fucking stop.
No, it's okay. I appreciate this.
I'm so sorry, Tyler. Is there anything else that we want to talk about before we go on this?
Aziraphale, or I should say Michael Sheen's delivery of, oh, fuck. When he...
Yep.
Fuck! Oh my god, it's so good.
Perfect. That was one of my favorite jokes in the book of, in the lead up to him saying booger and it being the first time he's cussed in 6,000 years. And then, like, God, just a few paragraphs later, he, like, says, oh, fuck. And it's just has always cracked me up. So then having Michael Sheen deliver that, so his facial expression, his, like, enunciation of fuck is just, it's so good.
Just pretty much any meme that's like chef's kiss.
Yes.
Just this entire, I feel like this entire series can be summed up. Even the cheesy parts, even the like, oh, you didn't have the budget to do that part.
Here's my chef's kiss. Crowley's fucking sideburns.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, his mod look.
Or the
the snake ones
snake
that he had.
Yeah,
oh my god.
yeah.
Just
wow.
everything. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't have a specific chef's kiss here. I think I've talked about most of mine. Just like, oh, that moment.
That magic moment.
Oh, and
Oh, that's it. They're like, Crowley, focus. And he's like, I am having a moment. Then something happens. Oh, I really got to get over the car. Like that. That's it.
my favorite Crowley moment might be, I love that they included the plants and the like.
Yes.
It's creepy.
It's so cheesy that there's literally just people like shaking, shaking these fake plants, and it's like it's not high tech at all.
Doesn't
like
even
doing
look
it
real.
but it's so funny despite that. And you hear like in the book, he just walks out with a plant and comes back with an empty pot. In this, you hear the fucking garbage disposal. And the way that Tennant, like, casually, like, holds up the empty pot. And it was so fucking fun. It's cheesy and perfect. Like,
So good.
That dude needs more villain roles. We've seen it. He can do it. Give me a villain role like this, too. Not just, like, fucking sex predator that was the Purple Man.
Although that was really good.
He does a performance of a lifetime there. I like quirky Tennant better than sex offender Tennant, and he's very good at both roles.
that's the problem, is he's too good at it, and it's scary.
You're like, oh man, there's alternate
I'm so-
universes of you, like the evil alternate beard universe Spock. Like, in that one, oh, you are the worst human being alive.
Recommendations?
Recommendations. I am going to go with Batman Knight and Squire by Paul Cornell. Knight and Squire is a weird thing because I just can't get past those like weird D-list comics. They originally appeared, or a version of them originally appeared in this like throwaway Batman story from the 50s of the Batman of all nations. Where like the Batman of Europe and the Batman of Japan and the Batman of fucking wherever all show up and have an adventure together. And Grant Morrison, being Grant fucking Morrison, comes up with this idea in his head of this entire history of the Batman from Britain being Knight, and introduces like the second Batman from Britain in his JLA stories as like throwaway thing. And it's about this Batman who had originally been Squire, who was like Robin. And then after his dad, the original Knight, dies, like becomes a drug addict and like completely falls apart. And his, the new Squire like comes in and saves him and is like, get your shit together. And so there's this other Batman that lives in Britain that's got this long, complex history that only exists in Grant Morrison's head and like a couple of appearances where you only get like hints of it. And he became popular enough, partly because his suit is absolute fire, that they went, let's give this to a different fucking weird British writer. And they gave it to Paul Cornell, who actually wrote a bunch of Doctor Who, and he wrote the Family of Blood episodes, the one where David Tennant is pretending to be...
Oh my god, that episode's so good.
And this guy is great at, like, let's go over to Britain in the he does one for Marvel too, and see what the British version of the Marvel Universe looks like, or in this case, the British version of the DC Universe. And it's such a love letter to weird British comics and weird DC shit at the same time. There's entire storylines involving Jarvis Poker, the British Joker.
Yeah. Yes.
And then Joker gets pissed off that he's got this fucking ripoff in Britain and shows up, and like where Jarvis Poker, the British Joker, is mostly a dude that dresses like a clown and like does stupid harmless pranks. Joker shows up and like forces him to help him in a murder spree, and this dude's like, whoa, this is not what we signed up for here, boss. Like, so Knight and Squire, Paul Cornell, never gonna get a sequel. Completely understand why. Super charming.
Nice.
My love. You can also just say no if you want. I forgot to remind you that this was coming up.
Be like, don't watch anything. Don't read anything.
Stay home.
Fucking talk to people for once.
Keep your mask on. God damn it. Well, we've been talking about Neil Gaiman a lot, obviously. And Neil Gaiman having done this brilliant team up with Terry Pratchett, he also did a brilliant team up with my favorite musician, Alice Cooper. So Alice wrote an album called Last Temptation. Neil wrote a comic, Last Temptation, where Alice Cooper is the main villain. It is very fun. It's just, the one volume, it's beautiful. I own both the original, just black and white version, but they did a, what was it, 20th?
Gorgeous hardcover, I think at the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, I think the 20th anniversary, and they colored it. Absolutely beautiful. Highly recommend it if you want another interesting Neil Gaiman team up. He also talks about...
Very different.
Yes, very different, extremely different, much more dark Neil Gaiman than it is lighthearted. Yeah, but once again, Neil talks about basically getting to work with a legend and the fangirling that happens when you get to work with someone literally with rock star status.
Mm-hmm. And the best part is the legend also getting to fangirl a little bit, being like, this is amazing!
Right. And for a little backstory for myself, Alice Cooper was in town a couple summers ago, and I bought extremely expensive VIP tickets for my mother and I because my mom is a huge Alice fan, and he signed my copy of Last Temptation, and the look of joy on his face when that was what I had brought for him to sign, and he talked about how wonderful it was to work with Neil and that he still talks to him occasionally on the phone and how great he is. And Alice is a legitimately nice and cool person. Like, he's not...
I was so glad meeting your hero turned out so well.
I know. You know when they say don't meet your heroes? Well, if your hero's Alice Cooper, meet him. He is so kind. He is so nice. And I cannot wait to hopefully meet Neil Gaiman someday when COVID goes the fuck away, so he can also sign my copy of Last Temptation.
Can I do a very short second recommendation bouncing off that? One, just the Alice Cooper Muppet episode.
Yes.
Muppet Show episode. But second, if you can, on YouTube, he's got a commentary track for it.
Oh.
Where he's watching some of it and talking about it. And how much he loved doing that. And how he would just, like, get into conversations off screen with the guy who was playing Kermit. And not the guy who was playing Kermit. Just with Kermit.
Right.
And fucking... Because that was not the guy. That was Henson himself who was playing Kermit at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Would just talk to him as Kermit. Just being like, yeah, okay.
And how much
he wants to talk to Kermit. I'm in. Like,
I can do this.
Right. He was like, that was one of the most fun things he'd ever done. And, you know, Alice Cooper's live shows have amazing puppetry.
Bet you that inspired that a lot.
Like, yeah. And I have to wonder if being on the Muppets didn't make him go, yeah, let's get some, like, 10 feet tall puppets that require, like, 10 people to control on my live shows. Like...
Oh, that's fun.
Tyler?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, I was trying to remember. I might have recommended this once early on.
That just means we like it more.
But it's very, like, germane to what the actual topic of the show was, not Star Wars that we were on for, like, 30 minutes. I'll go with one of my favorite YouTube channels, the YouTuber, and I believe the name of his channel is actually his name. It's Dominic Noble. What most pertains and what I'm really recommending is one of his ongoing shows is called Lost in Adaptation, where he does reviews of books that have been adapted to movies or TV shows, and he doesn't review them based on whether it's any good. He reviews them based on whether it's a good adaptation.
Mm-hmm.
They can be two very different things, too.
Yes.
As if you go through his episodes, you will find out can be extremely different things. Unfortunately, he hasn't actually done a Good Omens one yet. Although when it first dropped, he did put out like a little 10-minute video explaining why he hasn't done it yet and stuff. And you know, I think it's going to be coming up at some point. But luckily is another nerd that is going to approach it very carefully, as Terry Pratchett's his favorite writer.
Yeah.
So his stuff is, I mean, I'm recommending the Lost in Adaptation for sure, because it's just a really neat way to look at adaptations and how things get changed and how they don't, and how it impacts stories and themes and stuff. But all of his stuff is great. He very recently did a series of videos that were book reviews of the entire Twilight saga that are hilarious. So Dominic Noble, Lost in Adaptation.
Nice. Join us next week for some new stuff on a couple different levels. One, Cece will be joining us again, making her not only the first time someone's appeared 2 weeks in a row, but now fucking 3 weeks in a row, as well as our friend Steven, who was with us on Detective Pikachu and is our editor on Word Balloons.
Yep. For the first time we've tried this on
this podcast.
I'm so excited because these are really fun to do. Stay tuned for a commentary track
on
for the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yes. I got to be a part of one of these for a live one on college radio the first time ever.
Got to be part. Sorry.
Yes, but you're on the podcast all the time.
You're here all the time. Fuck off.
You're all the time. Yes, Zach and I several years ago it was Christmas Eve, right? There was not enough DJs for the local college radio station to cover the whole Christmas Eve, because who the fuck wants to stay in town and DJ for the local radio station? So our one of our best friends in the whole world had us come on, and we watched this live on radio, and it was the first time I had ever seen it.
Same here.
And God, it was so fun. But I'm looking forward to this time because I can cuss on this podcast.
Right. And also, the poor people on live radio, we told them what we were going to do at the very beginning, and then we didn't stop. We at no point updated what was going on, and you couldn't hear the holiday special, so it was just us talking about what we were watching.
Well, I mean, with that in mind, you're still not going to be able to hear the holiday special.
But we will set it up so, like, 3, 2, 1, go, and you press play at that point.
Exactly.
Right. Although there were parts, like the musical parts, where we would take a break from talking and play that on the radio. But I will say there were people who did not know we were doing that, who turned to the radio on and then heard our voices and were like,
"The fuck's going on?"
Zach and Cece.
Is that and they're like, "Are they watching the Star Wars holiday?" And and then they stayed tuned. Like they had so much fun listening to our bullshit thing that they didn't even know we were gonna do. So I'm looking forward to doing that again.
Kind of a weird episode next week because it'll be great, but we'll have no news. We'll probably just have that. But
yeah, unless I don't know, they announce that we're suddenly in Avengers next week, there probably won't be news.
I am.
Dude, if they announce that we're in Avengers next week, then
I have to figure out how they know who I am. But yes, secondly, but I guess in the meantime, that's all we got. So we're your Generals of Nerdery. I'm Zach.
I'm Tyler.
That's Cece.
Dismissed. Hi everybody, General Tyler here. If you like the show, please hit subscribe however you're listening to us right now. Also, if you could rate and review us however you're listening to us right now, or preferably over at Apple Podcasts, we would super appreciate it, as the whole world is ran on algorithms, and we want to be all up in them, getting our voice out to more places. Also, tell your friends. We always appreciate that. If you want to get in contact with us, ask us questions, give us comments, email us, generalnerderypod@gmail.com. You can also contact us through our website, www.generalnerdcast.com. While you're there, check out all of our back catalog, or click the links up at the top, as we are part of the Earworm Podcast Network. Go check out all of our sister shows. We're involved with most of them, so if you already like listening to us talk, it might be in your best interest. And if you want to check out everything from the network, head over to earworm.com, EARVVYRM.com. We'd super appreciate it. Love you all. Have a good one.